There we go. We are here. I'll wait and make sure everything's going okay with audio, and it looks like it's doing what it's supposed to do. Hopefully all is well there. Let's see. Rachel said, you drink iced coffee, don't you? I am today. I drink both. I will drink any form of coffee. Decaf, caffeinated, I don't care. It's coffee. It's like my favorite flavor in the world is coffee. So yeah, today is, usually during the live streams, I drink iced coffee. So that is what I have today. It is chocolate coconut with caramel, a little bit of caramel creamer. I don't really like caramel creamer, but I had some left. Someone else bought and left here, so figured I'll drink it. I'm not going to let it go to waste. So I'll just drink something I don't like. Let's see. Okay, good. It says, audio's live, video's live. Are you recording? I'm going to ask even if I know you. I don't need to. Sarah Drew said, I'm awfully glad to see you're safe and sound and warm. Yes, I am. Also, well, you can't really see. Look how warm I am because I have my, there we go. My words are heard merch shirt. You can get that in the merch store. Actually, did I even pin that? I didn't pin it, did I? Because I'm dumb. Hold on. I'll pin it. Here we go. Merchandise has been pinned. It should show up in the chat on YouTube, maybe. If nothing else, it's in the description. It's so soft. I love it. So, yeah. Anyway, quick little self-promotion there. Let's see. Where were we? We've got Lynn from the UK. Hello. Hi, Shortney. Kylie said, hi, hope you're well. 9 p.m. in South Africa. So happy I could catch you live. Oh my gosh. That is late. That's often Stefania. I'm going to butcher everyone's name. I am going to call and make an appointment for glasses. Like, I need new glasses so bad. I can't see crap. Up close, far away. I'm blind, so everything looks better than I think it does. I'll be surprised, actually, short story time. When I got my first contacts when I was like, I don't know, 20, 21, probably around 20, I got contacts for the first time. And when I looked at my artwork after years of having painted without, I was pretty surprised. Things were not blended as smooth as I thought they were blended. It was an unhappy discovery. Drawing Girl said, finally you're back, missed your live streams. Yay! Starving Artist Collective said, coffee, my last real addiction, besides art supplies, of course. I gave up caffeine years ago. Go ahead and start pulling out my pencils while we chat. I gave up caffeine years ago for 9 months. One of my doctors thought because I was having problems with my adrenal gland, like, don't function right. So he said I needed to cut out all caffeine because I didn't need to be stimulating my adrenaline more than whatever. I don't know, science. So I cut it out for 9 months. It didn't make any difference. Like, I did not feel any better. There was no change. I still talked just as fast and realized this is dumb. I'm not doing it anymore. And went back to, well, at the time it was more tea than coffee, but yeah. Let's see. I need purples and yellows. Need all kinds of colors here. Also, I got, and I'll show you them in a bit, I got the rest of the Derwent, Derwent sent me the rest of the Derwent Lightfast colors that I did not have. So, yay, we've got that. That looks about right for the light color. We'll get an orangey one. We're going to need some purples. And let's see, we need some good purples, so we'll switch up to the Derwent Lightfast colors. Hi, Carrie from Colorado. Let's see. Blake Can Design said, hi, how are you? I was wondering, is it possible to show you a bid and tress frogs that I drew? You can post anything in our art group. Well, anything, as long, no nudes, nothing political. You can post that in our art groups. We've got one on MeWe and Facebook. You can head over. The link should be in the description. You are welcome to post your stuff there. See. Hi, Juliana from Brazil. We've got Blake from Australia. Shelly said, hi, and everyone, glad to see you. I'm glad you guys are all here. Thanks, Robbie. Angel said, hi, Lisa. I contracted the Rona. I'm so sad right now. Yeah, but you're going to be over with it soon. So, part of me is like, when my friends are like, I have it, I'm like, can I come lick you? Because I just want to be done with it now. I'm not going to do that because licking people is gross. Also, I'm not certain I didn't already have it in July because I had a lot of symptoms. I just didn't get tested. But anyway, I hope you feel better. I guess I can offer like condolences there. I do hope you feel better, but look at the bright side. You're almost through the worst of it. And you don't have to worry about accidentally licking a stranger who has coronavirus. Apparently, I think licking people is normal. Let's see. But I'm sorry you don't feel well. Please feel better soon. Alana said, I swear I haven't missed a live stream, but I have no memory of this bird. It looks great. It's because it was weeks ago. It was a really, like, oh my gosh. We had a long wait. Wow, a lot of these colors I'm really liking for Derwent here. Let's see, we're going to pull out. Like, normally I kept these pencils out week after week, but I put them away at some point, and now I'm having to drag them all back out. It's taking a little bit longer than I planned. Let's see, we need a nice light blue. What color did I use on him? Probably used my Caran d'Ache Luminance. I've got a blue that looks like that. Yeah, it'd be close enough if not. Let's see. Thanks, Adriana. Scrolling. Hi, Facebook user. I can't always see like what your name is. It just shows me Facebook user, so I apologize. And there goes. I think that was Benedict, who I'm renaming Casanova, because he is calling the ladies. Thanks, Tara. Or Tara. I'm not sure which. My friend had your same spelling, and hers was Tara. Thanks, Charles John from Modesto, California. You're not that far from where I used to live. Well, kind of. I was in Rancho Cucamonga. Let's see. What else do I need? White. Oh my gosh, let's get some white pencils out. I guess I could have set all this up earlier, huh? No, that didn't happen. So we'll just sit here and chat while where is my, there it is. Drawing Chinese white. We definitely need this nice lime yellow green, and I need some black, and I think we're ready to get started. We'll go with, actually, definitely need the color almost black for that. And now we get to sharpen pencils while we chat. This is so exciting. Where's my little container for my shavings? There it is. It's actually, so what I use for my shaving container thing, and it's all like dirty smudge from colored pencil, it's supposed to hold your toothbrushes for the bathroom. I don't even know where I got this, why I have this, but that's what I use it for. Let's see. Tara said, when I first got contacts, I fell asleep with them in and woke up convinced I could see without my glasses. Forgot I had contacts in. Scrolling. Hi, Mirko. I butcher people's names. That's what I do. From England. Angel said, unfortunately, I have to be escorted tomorrow so I could be monitored easily because I got a high fever, which is unusual with the people I've asked that got it too. Oh, I'm sorry. I hope you feel better soon. It's no fun. I'm like, whenever I get sick, I just try to focus on the bright side. Like, okay, I won't get this. Well, shouldn't get this again. I mean, I know everything's weird with this one, but try to focus on the bright side if you can. That's what I do when I don't feel well. That's my like personal try not to I don't know, just that constant, like what always goes through my head. And I remember doing this at the dentist, because I hate the dentist, as a kid, is that this will be over soon. This will be a memory soon. It'll be over soon. But I really do hope you feel better quickly. I am glad though that you are being monitored, so that's good. Am I working on sandpaper? No, this is Karen. No, it's not. It's Canson Mi-Teintes, and it should be listed in the video description. Let's see. Sneak said, your little bird is about ready to take off. Great shading. Thank you. Angel said, anyway, I just have to watch you draw to stop me from crying. I'm so sad right now. You know, one of my friends had it, and this is interesting. She got the zombie virus, and she also, which is what I determined that it really is, she said that she had that, where it was like a weirdly, like she kept having emotional like breakdowns that were not like how she normally would handle things. Like she really thought, like she said there was a definite emotional, like it affected her that way. So I thought that was that's kind of interesting. I mean, it sucks for sure, but good news is it goes away. She's all better and normal again. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm gonna block in some of the blue around the eye first. And then we've got a highlight. And just for clarity, I'm not like downplaying that you don't feel well. Trust me, I'm going to turn, if I didn't actually have it in July and I get it, I'm going to be the biggest freaking baby crying about, not so much crying, I'm not, but whining. I will be the biggest whiny, like, I'm quite the whiner when I don't feel well. So yeah, no, I'm not going to judge anybody for that. Let's see. Where are we? Okay, so let's go ahead and start with a little detail. Man, I wish my eyes were doing better because this is tiny and far away and I cannot see it. But now here I am burnishing. I am pushing a little bit harder. It is teeny tiny. I turned off autofocus, didn't I? Hold on, let me double check because that would be a problem. I'm nearly certain autofocus is turned off, but probably zoom in a little bit for you guys. Okay, good. Autofocus is off. It's just the exposure that's changing. And yeah, I could probably zoom in a little. It'll just be pixelated, but I could make that a bit larger. Hold on, let me find the thing. That should help a bit. Okay, maybe I've zoomed in too much. It's gonna be pixely. There we go. Let's see. Sneak said, I'm the go to bed and sleep until it's over person when I'm ill. Not me. I usually work through it and then complain a lot. Like I just complain and keep working is my normal thing. Unless it gets to the point where my throat hurts so bad that I can't speak, because obviously I have to record videos and such. So that would be an issue. But I normally, the last time I stayed, well, when I had the surgeries, I had to stay in bed. Plus all the medication they had given me made it not possible to be working. But even that's not true. Like within a few days of the surgery, I had to at least finish one of the paintings because I had it was a sponsored video for that old. They're not there anymore. It was a video or a reference photo type place or stock image thing. But I had to get that done. And no, yeah, I still did work. I mean, I didn't work as much. I guess that's what I do when I don't feel well. I work, I just don't get as many hours in. Not that that's necessarily the right thing to do, but it's like if I'm going to feel like crap either way, may as well get some work done. But of course, I guess it depends on what kind of illness you have, because like talking, if your throat hurts, not so like that doesn't work out too well. Yeah, it's funny. My sister actually put herself in the hospital because my sister she's obese, so she's got the higher risk there anyway. And then she has asthma, and she had herself so stressed out about the idea of having the zombie virus. Not that the zombie virus was causing the issue, but the stress triggered her asthma, and she ended up in the hospital. Like, it was more stress related than that. She's fine. But yeah, she had a hard time because it stressed her out so much. She had such an emotional reaction to the idea of having it, and not, like, she was texting me like, how do I know if I can't breathe? I mean, I would think that you just, okay. So yeah, she had a really hard time with it. My other sibling, my brother, and his girlfriend, they felt like crap for a couple of days and then were like fine. Theirs did not last more than a week, and it wasn't really like that big of a deal for them. They had it really mild. Actually, I think she didn't have much in the way of symptoms at all, if I remember correctly. But definitely it seems like those who were afraid of the idea, like we have this fear mongering going on more than it needs to. And it seems like those who were afraid had a harder time with it because of the scary news shows statistics in a very creative way. And it's scarier. I mean, I'm not saying it's not scary, but it definitely seemed harder on those who were already so afraid to get it. And then when they got it, they had that more emotional response, which definitely made it harder for them. Anyway, moving on. Let's see. Molly said, I've been wondering why you stopped the co-hosting the Colored Pencil podcast. thought I might have missed an announcement or something. No, I was actually told John was planning on taking it another direction. And then he wanted me to occasionally maybe come online. And I'm like, I'm either in or I'm out. Pick one. So I just didn't. We don't really talk anymore, so I don't know what's going on with that. But it was a weird, like, yeah, I'm going to go another direction. It's like, okay. But then he went another direction and then got another co-host. I'm like, all right. I have no idea what happened there. That one was very confusing to me, but I hope they do well. It was a very weird, like, it was weird and unforced, like it came out of nowhere, that's for sure. So that's why there was no real announcement. Like I have no ill will towards them or anything. It was just a weird, like, I don't, okay. Let's see. Where are we? I'm just scrolling. Yeah, I think the fever too, Angel, makes it worse. It's just, it's so bad. I hope did they give you something for that? Because having a fever will make everything hurt and feel absolutely terrible. Just keep remembering, it's a short time, like in a few weeks, you'll feel good. I know that's easy to say now. Molly said, if I remember right, you live in Texas. Does the climate there help with your fibro? Just asking because when I lived in, I don't know where that is, Valley in Oregon with lots of rain and cold, it hurts. Fibro is taking over, so we were planning on moving to Texas. No, actually, if anything, I would say, well, I came from Southern California, so I've never lived in the cold. But even when it gets cold here, my fibro, no difference whatsoever. Well, the only thing that affected my fibro was adjusting my diet. So cutting carbs. Actually, and it turns out I can have rice now, and rice isn't the carb that seems to be the problem. I didn't know that for years. I just thought it was all carbs. Like potatoes cause a lot of issues with both the fibro and the arthritis. But I'm also, by the way, listing, this is violet. I'm going over the black, and that'll make my black look even darker. And I'm not pushing too hard because I'm going to blend that out with OMS. But no, the weather, I never noticed affecting the fibromyalgia one bit. Again, I'm not from a cold climate, but when we have the cold here, it didn't affect me. Like, I don't notice any real difference. So unfortunately, I don't want to burst your bubble, but it's probably not. I mean, there are plenty of people in Texas with fibromyalgia. So, yeah. But, I'm not a doctor. I don't know what's causing it for everybody, but I know a lot of people who have fibro here and don't. Myself included, and that wasn't the thing that made the difference. I had to adjust my diet. Like sugar is bad. Artificial sweeteners of any sort is bad. Stevia, xylitol, all of those make me super sick. That really triggers the fibro. Carbs trigger it. Yeah, I don't know that that's super helpful information for you, but that was my experience. Let's see. Where am I? Molly said, good to know. I noticed sugar really affects me. Sad because I love sugar in my coffee. I do 1 tablespoon. I'm limited to one. Well, I limited it for the calorie purpose, but I do 1 tablespoon of creamer, like fancy creamer that has sugar in it in my coffee. So it is limited, but I seem to be okay with that. I haven't had any major fibro issues. Because of my diet, because of controlling, as long as I don't eat a bunch of potatoes and a bunch of artificial sweeteners and I don't eat too much in the way of candy and such, the only thing that oh, hi Denise, or welcome to Patreon, Denise, if you were watching. But where am I? Clear this out. There we go. I just lost my train of thought. I had a much harder time for sure with the artificial sweeteners. I used to do, when I did more of the low carb stuff, I would do creamer but no sugar, and that you'd get used to very quick in your coffee. Like, it was surprising how quick I got used to that and still loved my coffee. So that may be an option. Oh yeah, potatoes are inflammatory. Any potatoes, eggplants, tomatoes. A lot of these things are inflammatory, and they can cause major issues all in their own. But potatoes are one of the worst. The high carbs, the real high carb. But then I say high carb, and I found that I'm not having any problems with rice. I've been eating the last since the end of June, I started eating a lot of these rice bowls, and I've not had any. I'm not struggling with. I may as well just fill all this in with yellow first. Any problems with that? Which is great because I love rice. So yeah, potatoes are definitely very inflammatory. So something, and it sucks because they're one of my favorite foods in the world. I could probably live off coffee and potatoes. Let's see. Where are we? Let's see. Carbs trigger it. That's awesome to know. I wondered why it hurt worse after eating potatoes. I don't eat sweets, so thank you so much. Yeah, I hope that helps. And it's not just like an eggplant. Like eggplant from the nightshade family is going to be very inflammatory. So look those up. But I did a search. So years ago, my fibro had gotten to where it was so bad, I was pretty much bedridden. Like I just didn't get out of bed. Everything hurt. I was not, nausea was a big thing. The nausea and the fatigue, those were a big thing. And so I finally hit a point where it was like, okay, something has to change. I don't want to live my life like this. I was maybe 30, 31 at the time. And I was like, I don't, maybe it was a little 32. I don't know. I was like, I do not want to live like this anymore. This is not living. I can't get out of bed. So I did an internet search, just typed in how I cured my fibromyalgia. And one of the things that kept coming up, and I'm not raw vegan now, and I don't think it's necessary, but it got me, it almost worked like an elimination diet for me to figure out what was causing issues. So I went on the raw vegan diet and I stuck with it for about 3 months. It's not an easy to sustain thing because you may think like vegan is easier to sustain, but raw vegan, not so much. But anyway, it worked like an elimination diet where I was able to pull a bunch of stuff out and kind of see what affected me. But it was a night and day difference. Within weeks, I felt so much better. The only thing that never really changed was the fatigue. That I guess is just my life. But the pain, gone. The nausea, that was the big one. The nausea. I had dealt with nausea since I was a teenager. I mean, bad. And that was gone. So it was a really, really big deal for me to go from, and I was playing in bands at the time, and it was like, I wanted to play more. I wanted to be more involved with the music, and it's like, I couldn't. And so after doing that, I was able to join a band, like Be Serious. That's when I joined with Christian Ross. And I stuck with the raw vegan for about 3 months. And then, like I said, I slowly would add things in and figure out what caused issues, like chips, Doritos. There's a fibromyalgia trigger. Corn is not good for the fibro. That type of carb is not good. There's not really any nutritional value there anyway, or not enough to bother keep eating it. But yeah, figuring out what made a difference. That's how I started with it. So and you're going to have a bunch of people tell you different things on what will and won't work. But this is from my personal experience. It made an absolute amazing difference. Oops, I just dropped my pencil and my flip-flop fell off. Hold on, I'm having technical difficulties here with the shoe. Get back on my foot. Let's see. You look good. We'll go with you. But I noticed too that with the fibro, I'm really sensitive. Like I can't chew gum anymore, which sucks because I used to love like Trident and stuff. They all are sugar-free, and that sugar-free, the stuff that makes it sugar-free that they use instead, headaches. Oh my God, the headaches were so bad. So I would have the shooting pains where it felt like someone was randomly stabbing me somewhere. So, yeah, it was pretty crazy how bad that was. But anything artificial seems to really, trigger it as well. And it's stuff that's artificial that people are like, no, but it's natural. Like, what is it? Stevia's technically natural. Yeah, well, my body disagrees and has a tantrum about it. The headaches and the nausea are what are the first to follow with that. But anyway. Tara said, potatoes are really playing with my arthritis and swelling, but it's hard because I'm Irish. Potatoes are a thing. Oh, I don't know what I am. I'm a mutt. But, dear God, I love potatoes. Potatoes, bread, those are like... Yeah, I get it. Trust me. So rice, I'm very excited I've been able to have rice instead because it's not as good as potatoes, but nothing really is. But it's still good. Freya Amanda said, hey Lisa, do you have an opinion on easels versus drafting tables, or does it come down to personal preference? Personal preference. For me, a drafting table is not possible because I need to be at 90 degrees. Like I have to be sitting upright, shoulders back ideally, because of I have ankylosing spondylitis, so the type of arthritis I have to keep a really good posture. So if I'm sitting in it like hunched over, which I think I would personally enjoy as far as creating the art, I've always liked working more flat. Yeah, I can't with my back and my neck. So that really does come down to personal preference. Let's see. Alexander said, would that also be a thing for people with irritable bowel syndrome? I've never realized why I don't like potatoes that much. I don't know on that. That I can't advise. Check though with IBS. Check, because I had TMI when I was younger. That was an issue, and when I went gluten-free, we found out I had celiac disease. That was the thing. Like, so sometimes it's just the gluten could be, if you have a sensitivity to it, could cause issues. But then that's not, potatoes are gluten-free, so that wouldn't be it. But everybody's going to be different and handle different foods and different things differently. So it's something, you can give it a try. I've never heard of that being a thing, but who knows? Let's see. Can I add Arabic subtitles to the video? I'm curious how you would want me to do that, being that I don't speak Arabic. Like that would make it would definitely be a challenge. I don't even put English subtitles on my videos. It's extreme, and to hire a company to do it, it is extremely expensive and not something that is ever going to happen. Like extremely expensive. I would lose no, I would not be able to pay my bills. Not for how many videos I put out. Let's see. Have I stopped using Fabriano Artistico for colored pencils? For the most part. I'm not saying I won't use it again, but if it's between, like if I'm going to go with a hot press watercolor paper, I definitely prefer my Arches hot press watercolor paper. The consistency, just the way the pencils handle it, I like better. I like the old Fabriano, but when they changed it and said they didn't change it, but everyone knew they did change it, and they said, well, it shouldn't have changed it. They started printing money or something on their presses, and then whatever, it affected the paper, and I don't like it. The newer version, it's doable. You can't get as many layers. Like it doesn't stick as well. Like it's weird. It's not my go-to anymore. I still have some. I'll eventually use it because I'm not going to waste paper, but I don't see myself, unless I hear that it went back to the way it used to be, I don't see myself buying more. Ooh, straw. Flip-flops are definitely technical. Hey, Nestor, what kind of birds am I drawing? These are Lady Gouldian Finches. Let's see. I am just scrolling down. Have I ever seen or been able to been in an extreme weather event like a tornado or earthquake? Earthquakes, because I'm from Southern California. So yeah, the earthquakes are what I've been a part of. We've had some crazy storms here, but I've not actually, like a tornado, thank God, I've not seen. That is terrifying to me. But earthquakes, I've been in a lot of earthquakes. When I was in junior high, so what would that have put me? Sorry, no, itchy nose, like 12 or 13, right around there. I was home alone, and it was a 3.5, I think, but it was centered where I lived. So while 3.5 doesn't seem that big, it is when it's right under you. So that I guess my neighbors had to come get me. My neighbors or the people across from us were like school teachers of something or another. And so they realized I was standing outside in shock. I was freaked out. So they kind of babysat me. I was like 13, so I was fine on my own, but I was so freaked out. Like that one really messed with me. And every time there'd be an aftershock, like I'd have a meltdown. Like that one really got me. Sergio said, uranium is natural and I wouldn't like it to sweeten my coffee with. There you go. That's kind of always my argument. It's funny because people will talk about wanting natural alternatives to like OMS. And it's like, okay, lavender's natural, but that made my lungs and my throat like close off and I could not breathe. So natural isn't really better or healthier for you then, is it? Not always. Sometimes yes, but not always. Let's see. Cat's Art Pig said, if my customer's painting arrives damaged, do I offer them a refund or offer to paint the painting all over again? For me, I give them an option. So I don't ship anything that is not insured. That way, either way, I got paid for the work I did. And if it gets damaged in shipping, UPS or post office or whoever I shipped it with, they are going to refund me that money. So I'm making that money, and then I just let the customer know, it's up to you. Do you want a refund? Do you want me to redo it? I'm good either way. Let's see. Sally said, look up what Dr. Judy McCovitz says about fibro. Sarah said, rice is the nicest part of my diet. Tasty and never makes me sick. Yeah, God, I love rice so much. Not as much as potatoes, but I'm really excited to have that back in my diet. Is there a particular type of rice or rice at all? I have been eating, what have I been eating? Mostly white rice. I'm pretty basic. But white rice and sometimes brown rice. I probably should just switch to brown for more fiber, but I like the white better for whatever reason. I think it's more of a in my head thing, because honestly they taste the same. But yeah, that is what, and sometimes I'll eat the long grain rice, whatever it is. I don't know, it kind of tastes like feet, unless you put a lot of salt on it. Even then it still kind of tastes like feet. I forget which one it is. But sometimes I'll do that and mix chicken in with it. So I make like my own little rice bowl. Long grain rice, is that it? I don't know. It's not flavored with anything like the one that we have. Now, I am not pushing very hard, and while yes, color is all on here, I have to put so many more layers on here before I blend with OMS, or the OMS has nothing to work with. Now, actually, I should probably start getting a lot more layers on here now so that I can blend out, because that paper stays wet for a really long time. And then we can get caught up with some questions while we wait for that to dry. Sounds exciting. So the black part of the face, that does have enough pigment on it. Let's get a little bit more here. I'm going to overlap that right over some of the yellow and green. We're going to pull this down here. I'll get that in a moment. Let's pull, actually, where's that denim color? Did I have that out? Because that's what I want. Nope, that's not it. Blue violet. Hold on. Let's see. Turn in the colors. There's a denim. There we go. Denim purple. It's like a purplish blue. I really like for some of these shadows, and I'll end up pulling it into this guy too, since I pulled it in the other one. If you put it in one, it needs to be in the other. I was using this pencil a lot on the giraffe that I recently did, and it's kind of become one of my favorites. So that is why I'm adding it to him too. Let's get some of the lighter blues in there. Melissa said, my problem with eating bread and potatoes is that I gain weight. Yeah, I've been counting calories, so I don't get many. When I do eat it, I don't get very many, so that helps me keep it in check. It turns out how many calories I think I should have and how many calories my body thinks I should have, they're not the same thing, like at all. I think I should eat a lot more than I apparently need to. Let's see. Alana said, started counting calories today. I'm in shock. I've been doing processed food for a few weeks, or doing no processed food for a few weeks, but apparently still eating a ton of calories. Plantains are killers. Oh my gosh. Yeah, there's so many things, like little things. Mayonnaise. So I put mayonnaise on everything. Like, I love mayonnaise. Not anymore. I could not believe how many calories were in that. Although I did find a light one that I've put on sandwiches the other night, and it was really good. But no, it was crazy. The things that I didn't realize, like avocado, I'm starting to, because avocados are good for you. There's good oils. There's a lot of good for you, but they are very high in calories. So my initial, when I restricted calories, I had to stop with those for a bit. I'm back on them a bit more now. But, hold on. We have to say welcome to Tara and Denise. Oh, we already said hi to Denise, didn't I? Well, welcome to Patreon if you're watching. Thanks for joining. But yeah, I was really surprised, because it was funny when my husband suggested, I think I've told you guys this story. I had my little drama moment so I'm brushing my teeth one morning, and I'm sitting there and realized my gut is sitting on the counter like a shelf, like what is going on right now? This is not okay with me. And it was my breakdown moment. I'm being all dramatic. So my husband was sitting at his desk and I came out, I'm like, I'm just going to starve myself. I'm not going to, and I would never do that. But it was kind of like me being dramatic. And I was like, maybe if I start fasting more or do something. And he's like, why don't you just start counting calories? I'm like, that's not going to work because I already don't eat much. I was so certain I don't eat that much until I actually started counting the calories and it was like, holy crap. Like, I was not in the realm of reality on how, yeah, it was crazy when you realize how much, like, and especially like Chipotle. I love Chipotle, and I still eat Chipotle, but I had to adjust what I eat. So like now I get a veggie, or no, not a veggie bowl, it's a bowl, a burrito bowl, but no guacamole and no cheese. That's the big thing, because those are so high in so yeah, I can, and no chips. Oh my God, the chips. And I love chips. But yeah, I had to make a lot of alterations for sure. Like, so I can still eat at some of my favorite places. I just don't, I changed the way I order things. And the funny thing is, I still enjoy it. So it's not even like, I mean, okay, sometimes I still wish I could have chips. But for the most part, it's not like I feel like I'm suffering and not having good food or not being full. But it's not it at all. I just had to adjust some things. Let's see. Priya said, thanks for explaining that. I am yet to master sitting upright and paint well. Yeah, that it does take practice. Having that the upright. I had a hard time with that with colored pencil because I always worked flat. I used to work on on TV trays. I would just put my drawing board on that and I'd work. And if you look at my really old videos with colored pencil, it's all shaking all over because it was a wiggly TV tray. The video, once it was sped up, was it was bad. But once I realized my back was getting so bad and I had to work upright, it took a bit for me to get used to working like this, where the easel is straight in front of me. And now that I'm used to it, it's no big deal, but it took a bit. It was not an overnight process, that's for sure. But I had to make myself. I mean, I didn't have a choice, so it wasn't something like, well, sometimes I'll draw an easel, sometimes I'll draw a fly. It was straight out like, you can only work in an easel moving forward, so figure it out. What do I need? I need a more, I think that one was yeah. Let's see. Drawing Girl said, I'm always scared to death when I have nausea. I don't know why. Really? I don't know. It's such a normal part of my life. Like, it's always been for as long as I can remember. I mean, even as a kid, I was struggling with that because, well, it was the celiac disease was part of it. And we didn't know that until, God, I didn't figure that out until I was in my mid to late 20s, I think. So, yeah, this is the color I need here. So, yeah, nausea's always just kind of been there in the background. You learn to deal with it. I mean, it's not a good thing. Obviously, it's a symbol that something is wrong, but I couldn't get doctors to take me seriously either. So that was an ongoing thing. Like, one of my complaints was the fatigue. Well, I talk fast, and so people think, oh, you've got so much energy. I could pass out on the floor right now, no problem. If my back could handle laying on the floor. But it was really frustrating. And I mean, anyone with chronic, well, if you're going through the process of being diagnosed with fibro, you'd know this. But it's always hard because they don't, you get dismissed a lot. And they were certainly not helping. So it had taken a very long time to figure out what was wrong with me. And you're just like, you just deal with it. It's like, okay, I guess this is life now. I mean, I know it's not wrong. And they did a lot of tests, but they couldn't figure out. Back then, they didn't really test often for celiac disease. So that's why it took me so long to figure out that was the problem. Let's see. Molly said, I went no processed food diet for 2 months, just fresh veggies, fruits, and meat, and my inflammation was nearly gone. I wish I could sustain that, but my willpower sucks. Yeah, and that's always the problem with a lot of the diets. Like the raw vegan thing, one of the problems with the raw vegan thing is I was definitely not getting enough protein, because a lot of the protein that you get, there are different ways that you get it, but a lot of the supplements made me sick. And then you can go with nuts. Too many nuts make me sick. Nuts always have. Like, I can eat them. I'm not allergic, but if I eat very many, enough to get the protein necessary, that makes me sick. So I realized, like, okay, this isn't really a fit, and I was losing my willpower anyway. Like, I'm like, why am I eating? I was trying to replace some meats and use like sunflower seeds. There was a way that you could make that like faux tuna for tuna rolls, for like sushi rolls. So I was trying stuff like that, and I was just not doing a good job, honestly. And before anyone yells at me, I know there's a way to do it right, and mine was not it. obviously, because I didn't feel well. So I adjusted my, yeah, it was not sustainable for the 3 months was about all. And it's funny when I read it, where are my brushes? When I read about that, 3 months is about the longest most people go for as extreme of a diet that was. I can't talk. Let's see, what brushes do I need? I need smaller brushes. These are not, I need to get new brushes because these are getting frayed and they're not great for little details. Okay, oh, and the OMS. Let's see. Angel said, who would have thought that I'd get it this year? So unfair, because I never party like the idiots in California who got party. That's the thing with viruses that people seem to not understand. And I don't want to go too far because I'll get banned on YouTube with it. I'm not giving medical advice. But the thing with viruses is we were all always going to get it. Like there was never going to be a wait. We weren't going to stop it. It was going to happen. And so people were mad about people partying. Thank them. Unlike somebody goes out and riots or parties or whatever it was that people were like, oh, they're spreading the virus. They're building herd immunity. I'm not saying that you should be rioting. I'm just saying that was kind of a ridiculous excuse. Like people, it amazes me how many just kind of are ignoring the science we know about viruses. It was always going to spread. It was here. There was no, you can't just stop it and make it disappear. So when people got it, and ideally, you know, the majority, what is it, 99.99 whatever percent were fine, they built herd immunity. They're doing us a favor. So it's like people were getting mad at people for getting it. And I'm like, I'm over here going, thank you. You made it less likely for grandma to get it because you're building our herd immunity. I'm okay with this. So I don't get mad. Like I never got mad at people who were, you know, once the hospitals were stable, I guess, in the beginning, that was definitely a concern. But once that was kind of stabilized, I didn't get mad personally when people were like went out and put themselves at risk and got it. I'm like, well, you did me a favor. You just added to herd immunity. You made it less likely for me. So that was just kind of my thing. But it's this whole thing has been kind of weird watching what people expected I don't know. It followed the nature that we know viruses would, like, none of this was a surprise. I don't know why people were surprised with how and why it does and doesn't spread. Like, I don't know. I worked in an animal hospital, and anyone who has, well, in certain areas, I guess certain areas don't really deal with parvo, but parvo was kind of my introduction to the way viruses spread, where you can touch something completely invisible and you track that other places, and you touch another surface and that surface is infected and someone else touches that and then touches the dog and the dog gets it. So the way that things are spread is not as simple as coming in physical contact with the person who was infected. So I don't know. It's kind of, I don't want to go too much into all of that because YouTube likes to ban anyone who talks about it at all. So this needs to dry. This is darker. We're going to let that set. And just for transparent, or like, I'm not saying it's not serious in any way. Like that's always been the argument. Oh, you don't believe it's real. No, I believe it's very real. And I do not want to get it. And if I get it, I'm going to whine like a little girl. So, you know, there we go. Anyway, it's no fun to talk about. So I am moving on. And I do, please heal fast because love you. You need to feel better. But yeah, let's see. Hi, Tarcisco. I can't say your name because I can't say names and I butcher all of them. Where are we? Have I used Lux archival paper? It's amazing. I love it. It's one of the best papers by a lot. Nick was moderated. Dara said, just join your Patreon. We'll have a look around this afternoon after the live video. Thanks for your time and skill. Oh, yay! So go to, when you sign up for Patreon, go to lachri.com. And then like scroll down a little, it'll have Patreon video library. Go there and you can see all the videos listed with a thumbnail and it will be way easier to find what you're looking for. Everything except like, it's always a couple of months behind. So there's maybe 8 videos I need to like update onto the video library, but it makes it way easier for you to find some of the older stuff that you're looking for. What is the largest piece of art you have created? I worked on it was the background murals for the LA County Fair. Was it 2001 or 2000, I forget which year it was for. It was like hundreds of square feet. So it was insanely large. I forget what it was. It was insane how big these backgrounds were. So yeah, that I guess would be the biggest one. Aren't all earthquakes right under you? I mean, I guess it depends on where you live. Because like if I'm here in Texas and an earthquake happens in California, it's not really right under me. It's under them. Let's see. Sandra said, is Mi-Teintes considered as a sanded paper? Not at all. Nope. Good for powder blender? Nope. Or do I need the Mi-Teintes touch for that? That will also not work. If you want to use powder blender, sanded paper. So ideally Lux Archival, by far the best. Next choice for me would be the Fisher 400. My last choice, and it's kind of, I don't like the way the company is dirty and so story time. Let's talk about Fisher, or not Fisher 400, let's talk about UArt. Somebody contacted UArt, I'm not gonna give out any names or any details, but they contacted UArt saying, hey, we heard that your work, or the back of the paper, isn't really archival. They gave her the dirtiest freaking explanation that was full of BS, like absolute, they then know and they're lying. Oh no, the people who are saying that are misinformed. They don't understand the blah, blah, blah bull. Absolute freaking bull. They are lying to people, so they know now, but they're lying about it. And that I am just, nope, I will not promote. I will not use anything to do with UArt, their products. Like the response was kind of disgusting because one of two things are happening. Either they're completely ignorant about their product, which is not good, or they completely know and don't care, which is not good, because the information they are giving on why their product is safe is not true. Or why it's archival. I shouldn't say safe. It's perfectly safe. You're not going to be harmed by using it. Use it for practice, whatever. But their explanation was a little bit disturbing to read and to hear how they were kind of talking crap about anyone who said that it wasn't archival. Like their response was like, wow, petty much? When you want to go petty, let me bring out some facts for you. But anyway, so that would be, I know you didn't ask for my drama about UArt, but yeah, you are going to want an actual sanded paper. This is like a pastel paper, not the same. Those would be your options there, or gesso. Like you can use a hot press watercolor paper. If you've got an airbrush, you can airbrush the gesso over it a couple of coats and that will work too. It works. More trouble than it's worth, in all honesty. I would rather just use the sanded paper. Let's see. Paul said, my paranoia would be I get caught naked during an earthquake because that's the last time the earthquake happened. I was taking a shower. So yeah, that was why I started sleeping in shorts. Like I used to sleep as a kid, like growing up, just a t-shirt and your underwear. But because of that, and I always, if an earthquake hits, I run outside. My brain shuts off and it's like, get outside, which is not safe. Do not run into the street. But that's what happens when I panic. So yeah, I started wearing shorts, like anything that I could be outside and comfortably in front of neighbors because it was probably going to happen. Let's see. Bob said, as someone who is British, I am always fascinated by the weather that is over in America. We don't have a lot of those disasters here. Yeah, I guess it's our payback for having amazing sun. Where are we? Madman, I like your coffee, Tim. Let's see. Jasmine rice. I don't know if I've had that. Bob said, I also wanted to say, even though I've been going through all of your past lives, I just love sitting down and doing art as I listen. Oh, yay! I love your personality, especially when you do rants. Well, thank you. Whoop, come down. Magnet's on a roll. I'm not even repeating most of this because I'm going to get myself into trouble, but I'm like, oh my gosh. Tara said, I've got fibro and it's no fun, but when I have a good day, it's the best. Sending healing hugs to you and everyone watching. You know, one of the things, so I've got to wait for this to dry, by the way, so I guess while it dries, we can start layering in the darks. One of the things that happens when you have chronic illness like that is you're going to have to deal with it and you have to figure out ways. And I guess that's why maybe my attitude seems callous when it comes to other illnesses where I'm like, look at the bright side. And I know it's easy to say when you're not currently suffering from it. I get that. And I know I come across as a jerk because I'm like, look at the bright side. But I try not to be such a jerk, but when you deal with when you're sick all the time, which has been my life, I mean, since I was a kid, I have dealt with this. Is how I got into art. I was usually not feeling well enough to go ride a bike. I mean, I did. I don't want to make it sound like I didn't get to do fun kid stuff. I did. But I mean, being sick was a very real part of my life. It always has been. And so you have to find ways. I don't want to be depressed all the time. It's depressing being sick, but I don't want to feel that way. I like to feel happy. So it's like you kind of find ways to play mind games with yourself, to look at the positive of things. And like what you just said there, the good days are the best. I will say there are things I appreciate when I feel well that the average person doesn't get the giddy high from. Like when I had all those surgeries and I couldn't walk, I remember the walking was so painful. That was back in 2017. I remember seeing somebody walking their daughters and then being like, I was just so jealous they got to walk then. I appreciate that fact. I appreciate not being in pain. When I'm not in pain, you appreciate that. And I get all giddy high because it's like, I feel good today. So, it's bad that you ever have to feel like crap. But I will say those who have suffered in something like that, you appreciate the good more than the average person could possibly understand, I think, which is, kind of, I mean, again, it sucks that we have to deal with it, but if we can look at the positive of when things are going well, when I am feeling well, when all of that, it's like, there's definitely, I lived with my in-laws for 8 years. My in-laws are awesome, but no one wants to live with their in-laws for 8 years. There were some challenges. It was hard. You're not meant to live with adults for, things we financially were just a disaster, and that's just wasn't what we thought was going to happen when we moved to Texas. But because of that, when I got my apartment, I appreciated it like no one has ever appreciated an apartment. Let me tell you, I walked around every day. My husband just kept laughing at me, and I'm not exaggerating. Every day, multiple times a day, walking around going, I love this apartment. I love this apartment. And now I have my own home. I never thought that was going to happen. We were in such a financial mess for so long that I just didn't think we were going to get to a point where this was going to be a reality for me. So, I mean, I didn't think I was even going to get out of my in-laws' house, let alone buy a house. So now, because of having gone through thinking I was never going to have one, having a house now means so much more to me than it would the average person who was more successful earlier on in their life and got a house earlier. But so it's not like, I mean, we can see these things that are bad, or even like I grew up fairly poor, very. So hand-me-down clothes were a treat. If my cousins gave away, like would give us their hand-me-downs, oh my God, that was amazing because that was a big deal. Having things, being able to go and buy new clothes now means something to me that I wouldn't understand had I not grown up the way I did. You get to where when you've gone through hardships, the good stuff means so much more when the good stuff happens. So I don't know. Like I always talk about that with my mom, and I talk about that a lot. Like I don't think I would trade our child, growing up poor. I don't think I would trade a lot of stuff because I appreciate things much more. And I'm super happy all the time, almost all the time, because of that. Let's see. Cyber Notice Collective said, were you thinking of basmati rice? No. Long grain white rice. No, that is not it. Gary said, I like how you call it the zombie virus. That's what I've called it from the beginning. Let's see. Do I love the Derwent light fast pencils? I love my Faber-Castells and Luminance, but do I need to get those? You at least need the purples. Oh dear God, they're amazing. Derwent Light Fast has the best purples of any light fast pencil out there, like hands down. But no, I love the whole set. It's a really I am a big fan. They're one of my favorites. Like they are up there. I go back and forth with my favorite being Polychromos and the Derwent Light Fast. Like those are I just love that. I love them. So depends on your definition of need. I wouldn't want to be without them. At least get yourself the purples though. Like the Nightshade, Violet, Magenta is an amazing, like a bright pink, like magenta pink. Let's see. Is it okay to use OMS on Strathmore Bristol vellum paper? Yes, it is. Yeah, avocado is a healthy fat for your brain health too. Yeah, and I'm glad I get to have it in my diet again. I just needed the first 6 months to drop the weight, and now that I can I can have more calories without gaining now. I still count calories so that I don't gain, but I'm allowed to have more in my diet. So avocado is one of the first things when I could have an extra 250 calories in my diet a day. It was avocado's it. That is what I'm using. Let's see. I am scrolling down. Hannah said, thanks for being on today. You keep everyone's spirits up for sure. Question, thank you. What are the views on watercolor layering? Perhaps it's different for watercolor pencils. Or your views. I mean, you just have to watch with watercolor because it reactivates. So you just have to be careful and be aware of how much you blend. Like you layer with watercolors, it's just not the same as you would layer with like acrylics or with Inktense, or, you know, it's a different way that you would layer because it is going to reactivate what's underneath. Now, if you do a quick wash over it and you're not scrubbing that brush in, it's going to reactivate less, I guess, than what's underneath. So, I mean, I'm not sure what else I can say about it besides that. Just scrolling down, trying to get caught up on these. Christina said, if you had to pick between the full set of Derwent Lightfast or Caran d'Ache Luminance, what would you choose? Probably the Derwent Lightfast. I think the way that these blend, it's just such a perfect balance between wax and oil. There aren't many, like when I think of my Caran d'Ache, and I love my Caran d'Ache, but when I think of them, there aren't that many colors that I'm like, this is a must-have for me, where there are with the Derwent Lightfast. And just the way, I mean, even now, I don't find myself, like I almost never have to replace my Caran d'Ache Luminance because I don't go through them very quickly, other than the white. I don't use most of them that often. I usually find myself reaching towards my Polychromos or my Derwent Lightfast. Like those are my normal, these are what I burn through the fastest. So, and again, you're not going to go wrong. If you had Caran d'Ache instead of Lightfast, you're still going to be happy. They're all amazing pencils. But for me, given the colors, the colors that I use and that I really like, I tend to lean towards my, my Lightfast more. But I use a lot of purples. I use the colors that I use a lot of. Now, one thing that they tend to be weak on with the Lightfast are their reds. They don't really have a good selection of reds. They don't have a good selection of pinks. They are, I would say, lacking in those colors. So you may have to supplement that with another brand. Let's see. Have you done a mural? I've done several. I keep getting asked to do murals indoor and outdoor. I'm used to 16 by 20 size and smaller, never knew how to price or even if I wanted to try. My minimum price for a mural, just to even, no matter what you wanted, and this was years ago, my minimum price was, God, it was like $1,200. But then that would now, if I were to do a mural, $5,000 easy, minimum. Like it is so much physical work. It is so much that it's a lot. And then the problem with outdoor stuff is wear outdoor because like I've had people have me paint fences and I warned them that's going to fade. That's going to chip off and it's going to fade. You're exposed to water, you're exposed to a lot of stuff. And it's like, you know, how long do you want that to last? That's going to be a challenge with the outdoor stuff. But yeah, it's not something I enjoy. I've done a few that I was very proud of, and I never want to do it again. Also, this is just me. I just think murals are a little, design-wise, kind of tacky. There are ways to do them and make them not look tacky, but most of the ones people had me do, I wouldn't want that in my house. I was proud of them. I did an amazing job. I would not want it in my house. Like, it's just, there's a way to do it and make it like, and I actually was tempted to do that in my hallway before I did the shiplap, or have my neighbor do the shiplap, but the shiplap was what I really wanted more, but I was like, that's not in my skill set, so I thought that I would just do like a thin line of a mural. So that would be an option too. Ask the person, do they really need the full wall? Or what if you just took 2 feet all the way across so you had a stripe? That would look, I think, nicer than full wall murals are just, they're gaudy, honestly, in most cases. Can it look good? Yes. Do most of them look good? No. So, I don't know, personal preference there, but yeah, I don't like them. Oh, people don't like olives? What is wrong with you? That is like, they're amazing. I'm disappointed in some of you. Let's see. Paul said 2000, I was 4 in the year 2000. I was married in the year 2000. Yeah, Marilyn said, not a fan of UArt at all. I'm not a fan of the company. I'm not a fan of their response to people. I'm not a fan of, the product is mediocre at best. Even if it were Lightfast, they had, well, one of my things was, and this is why, one of the reasons I don't super trust them, they had a product, a paper that they should have recalled, they knew was bad, and instead they just replaced it if someone contacted them instead of recalling it. From what I could tell, like, it was still on the shelves years after. They're like, oh yeah, we knew that batch was bad, and they replaced it. So good. But why didn't you recall them? Why? You're just banking on the fact that you don't want to lose the money and recall everything you know is inferior. So it was, I don't have a lot of respect for the company. And I have less so after seeing the way they responded to a customer who asked them about that. It was a very dirty, very like, I almost want to say petty, the way that they tried to like bash anyone who criticized them as that we didn't know what we were talking about. It's like, tests have been done on your paper. I'm not going to say who did the test because they don't want to get into a war product wise and deal with, you know, UArt has more money, but I was just not impressed with the information they provided. We'll say that. Let's see. I'm just scrolling down. Is pastel matte sanded? Nope, totally different products. Scrolling. Rachel said, do you think it's worth it to buy the 100 set of Derwent Lightfast in the wood box that costs $470 at Dickblicks? If you get a coupon, yes, if a coupon is allowed for it. So I have one of their wood boxes. It is amazing and I love it. So yeah, for that, I would say it's worth it. Did I go buy it? No. Take that for what you will. I mean, I have one of their wood boxes for my Inktense and it's a beautiful, beautiful box. So well made. I love it. It depends on, I mean, do you have the expendable income to pay that for a fancy box? Because you could also do what I've got, these 3-drawer pastel, like here's one of the drawers I just pulled out. You can get a 3-drawer pastel box for under 35 bucks. So you've got, and that's what I put mine in. So, and because that's what I use on everything, it makes more sense for me to stick with that. So it's not worth it to me to even ask them to send me, because I might be able to get them to send me a box. Or Derwent too. I probably wouldn't use it that much myself because all my color pencils are in these 3-drawer pastel boxes and it's just easier to keep them all together, you know, like they stack up nicely. So it is a nice box, I can say that. But do you need it? Not necessarily. The set of 100 though. So Derwent, let's grab these really quick. Derwent recently sent me these. So these are the extra pencils that can I show you? Can you even see how many there are? There's a lot. These are the pencils that I did not already have. And there's a couple in here that are going to be on my must-have list. I did a little test. Hold on, I'll show you. Oh, there's even more. I haven't even tested all of these, but a couple really quick. Let me pull this out. Oh, that's a good one too, because that was one of my complaints. They kind of fixed some of the lacking of oranges and there's some good colors in there. But the ones that I was super excited about, we've got the Bordeaux, I guess. And this one I think was very much like my Caput Mortem color. Is that? Yeah. Oh, so is this one though. Chestnut's kind of somewhere in between, a little bit darker. So you had that color was really good. You've got the Autumn Red was a nice red, kind of a muted. Magenta was a magenta. It's kind of a pinkish. Let me see if you can do this to where you can see. Kinda. It's more, okay, the color is not looking accurate on that. The color in person is more like, it is bright magenta. It is a bright, beautiful, almost fluorescent color, and that's a hard thing to find in a Lightfast pencil. So they've got some amazing, in the 100 set, I will say 100% get it. But as far as whether or not you need the wood box, that's going to be up to you. They are nice boxes, though. I do know that. Let's see. Bella said, I got the 100 set of Derwent Lightfast in the wooden box for $285 at Dick Blick. Okay, so keep looking. You may be able to get that less. I'm going down. Yeah, Jen said, I have chronic pain with Crohn's disease. I totally get what you mean about celebrating the good days. I think you have to. I think it's just you just get depressed if not. So you got to, I mean, I've known of people who will wallow, and I don't want to say wallow like they don't have good reason to, but if you wallow and stick in that, you get depressed on top of, like, if you mix depression because you wallowed in it, and again, that sounds like I'm dismissive of somebody suffering, but if you kind of get stuck in the bad and you focus on the bad, you'll feel worse, because that's part of the thing with my fibromyalgia. You get depressed with fibro and your fibro will flare up like crazy. So that's kind of a big deal too. Which it sucks, because it's like this endless circle of you got depressed because you didn't feel well, and that made you feel worse, which made the depression, like, it's a crappy circle. So trying to break out of that is important. Hey, Victoria. Let's see. Yeah, Melissa said, we've lived with friends for the past 8 months and we're moving next week back into our own place. I can't wait. I miss so many things about our independent life. Yeah, and you're going to appreciate your own place even more than ever. And it's not even like my in-laws were great. They didn't do, like, they made things very as good as what you would expect. You know, you're also, no one's intended to live with their in-laws as an adult for 8 years. Like, that shouldn't, that was not mentally a easy thing to do. I pretty much lived in my room. Me and my Italian greyhounds just worked constantly in. My bedroom was also my office, which was also my studio, which was also my living room. It was all the things, and it was not a large room. And that's how I started with YouTube. If you go back to those older videos, that was all filmed in that tiny, tiny, tiny little bedroom. So when people do the whole, like, I can't get started because I don't have a nice space. It's a tiny room with a lot of crap shoved in it, and I still got started. Let's see. That's actually a good point. Sneak said, I think being chronically ill or having chronic pain turns you into the person that is tougher through adversity. We shake it off better. I think you may be right, because I've seen people where it's like the smallest thing kind of sets them off, where I'm like, that wasn't, I mean, your broken leg's going to heal soon. Like, move on, like, function, just function. But yeah, no, I think you're right. Like, okay, let's see, where are we? Bob said, I'm also fascinated by the size of America. You could be driving for hours and still be in the same state, whereas in the UK it takes that time to get from one side of the country to the other. Yes, Texas is the worst. Texas is a full drive from the north area to the south area. Like, when we moved here from California, one day was spent driving from California to the border of Texas. It was an entire second day just to get from the bottom of Texas up to North Texas. Like, it is big. And it's funny because a lot of people will come into Texas or into the U.S. and like go visit somebody in New York and be like, hey, let's go down to Texas. Let's drive down to Texas. And they're like, drive to Texas? What? You can't just drive to Texas in a day. Like, that's not how that works. But they don't, because they're, you know, in the UK, that's not how it is. They don't understand the like ridiculous size it is here. Marina said, I'm very new to your Patreon. I'm an oil painter, but I want to try my hand at dry medium. I only have a 12 set of Derwent pastel pencils and 2 Stabilo. That's enough to get started. I mean, and with my lessons, even if you're not working in the same medium I am, it's still going to be helpful or useful to you to follow along, because I'm mostly focusing on a lot of these lessons. Your contrast, your values, the things that doesn't matter what medium you're working in, you can apply that to other mediums. That is too pale. I also want to point out there, see how I tried a pencil? I was like, nope, too pale. Put it down, grab another pencil. We get hung up on which color to use. Don't get hung up on which color to use. Doesn't really matter. I tried a color, didn't like it, put it down, picked up a new pencil. So when you choose colors, do not get yourself all worked up over choosing the perfect color. The perfect color doesn't even matter. It doesn't even exist. It's about the right values. Dark's dark enough, light's light enough. And I picked up that other purple and it was pretty, but it was not dark enough. I need to get this dark enough so that when I come on top of the highlights really show up better. Now, I did not have anywhere near enough pigment on this. I should have had more pigment before I blended with OMS the first time. Look at this purple where his shadow is here on his tail. I'm just going really quickly over that. Actually, let's go ahead and get a base on his beak too. I don't even remember what color I used on the other bird's beak. Looks like purples. It is now. Let's see. Someone said, just got my new portrait luminance set. Any advice on them? Have fun. Go draw something. Do a portrait. Don't put too much stress on yourself. Go draw something ugly just to get a hang of the pencils. Or you like, we get so worked up, especially with new pieces, new products, and we're too worried about messing them up or wasting them. No. You want to learn? You want to go and do some scribbling, do some circles and shading, just play with them. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Have I tried or liked the whole binds? No, because I am not paying that much. So initially I wasn't going to pay that much because they weren't sold here in the US legally. So people would get, like, third-party sellers would still sell them here and charge an insane amount of money for a pencil, like $350 for a set of pencils. Well, let's say I like those pencils. Let's pretend they're as amazing enough to spend that insane amount of money on. If I use up a certain blue and it's my favorite, I cannot replace it. I have to buy a whole new set because they weren't available open stock here. So that was a big complaint. My other one is when you look up the Lightfast ratings, I'm still having a hard time finding actual ratings. They're like, oh no, it's the same. We're using the same rating as polychromos. No, you don't tell me that. I need you to tell me a 1-star is equal to this on the blue wool scale. A 2-star is equal to this. I can't get that information. I have not found it yet. So I don't totally trust their Lightfast ratings because they're not being super transparent about it. They did put like a star or number rating on their pencil, but I'm still having a hard time finding what that actually equates to. All I've heard is, oh, it's like polychromos. No, I want to hear from the company what that number means. What does it mean? You say that it's extra light, superior Lightfast or whatever at this number. That does not tell me what it is on the blue wool scale, because that is what I need to know. Blue wool or ASTM, I don't care which, let me know. So that goes against them. We're dealing with the most expensive colored pencil and they can't give me the most basic of information. I have an issue with that. So then they became available here in the US. What are they at right now? Like $385 for a set on Blick? Hell no. I am not paying. I am sorry. Okay, it is my job. I review things. It's a tax deduction. I should buy them. I'm not paying that. For the principal, I do not know why anyone is paying that. If people would stop paying, that's an insane amount of money for what appears to me to be an inferior product. You're not giving me accurate information, or clear information, I should say, on the Lightfast ratings. When people have contacted them and showed like emails or whatever they got, it still was not clear to me. They are not, the colors, if you look at the colors, it's like, oh, here are 800 pastels. Not literally, I'm being exaggerating, but it's like, here's a whole lot more pastels than anyone really ever needs. They're not even colors that, I'm not seeing the appeal. My understanding is they're very similar to polychromos in practice. I don't know. I've not used them. It doesn't matter. There is no pencil that is worth it to me to pay that kind of money. There just isn't. I think it's absolutely insane. And especially, I have different Lightfast. I have polychromos. I have Caran d'Ache. I don't need to go spend that kind of money for a pencil and I thought, well, I'll buy a smaller set. They're still stupidly expensive. And I'm like, if I'm going to do a review, I want to do the full color. I want to talk about the colors in the set. And I'm just not, I'm waiting to see if Blick eventually gets coupons, because they do say you can use coupons on that. If I can get a good coupon, I'll go ahead and order them. I'm not paying full price. I'm just not. Let's see. Marie said, let's see, appreciation. The simpler things in life is a blessing. I grew up in a farm and now live in the city. Totally different worlds. Oh yeah, definitely. Belle said, oh no, the whole wine rant. I know, it has to happen. Let's see. Someone said, yes, the Derwent Lightfast melts on paper. No need to do any work. The color selection also made to suit skin tones. Yeah, the Derwent Lightfast, definitely good skin tones there. I need to do a portrait with these. Let's see, especially the family portrait mural, talking about murals, especially a family portrait mural, like why? But then again, this is coming from a person who hung a self-portrait in my house. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even have family pictures in my house. I have one photo from my husband and I when we were married, and that is in my bedroom, and it's this big. That is the only family, people portrait I have anywhere in my house. Everything else are paintings. So maybe I'm the weird one here when it comes to this stuff, but it just, no, not for me. I need to lighten this, so we'll go over that a bit with the white. Okay, I'm gonna blend that out. Actually, I'm gonna take that back. I'm gonna put a little bit more pencil on there, and then we'll blend that out. I missed this whole section second time through. And then we will blend out. Molly said, yeah, also, I just feel like if you want that large of a piece of art, why wouldn't you just do it on a large sheet of plywood or something? then hang it on a wall or the fence or wherever you want. That was always kind of my thing too. If I wanted a mural in my house, I would rather do it. The plywood thing was my thought too. If you move, you can take it with you. So that always made more sense to me than the painting on the wall itself. I just don't see the appeal myself. But then again, I guess it comes into your decorating style. They do not fit with mine. And, well, I sort of. So my studio wall sort of would be considered a mural. I mean, I guess kind of, but it's not a scene. Like the scenes I used to do were like above and underwater scenes and a million birds and fish, dolphins, whatever. It was a whole thing. This is just leaves. It's more of I wanted more almost like a wallpaper type feel, but I needed something dark just for behind that would look good on video. So it wasn't about like having some full scene for me. So it is a little bit different. So I guess I'm being kind of judgy for somebody who has what is technically a mural on her wall in the room that she's complaining about murals. Okay, so this should be enough layering that we can start on the details when that dries. But I need all of this to dry first. While that dries, we can start blocking in the little feet. Zia said, "Hi Lisa, is the weather any better there?" Oh, it's nice here. When I think of Texas, tornadoes come to mind, but not cold and snow. Maybe I'm just a naive European native. No, you are actually correct. Hoping your froggies are all good. We are good. The weather right now, I'm waiting for the grass and everything to green up. It has been nice. I went and bought my sweet potato vine. Okay, someone needs to step in and control my plant buying thing. I have a serious addiction to plants, house plants, outside plants. But I bought the sweet potato vines. Those are like $2 for a little thing. But I bought those for the pots. I'm waiting probably until Monday to plant those. So the weather will be a little bit warmer. They're in my garage at the moment. I bought some OX, I forget how to spell it. Cute little purple guys. Those, it's almost warm enough for those. So yeah, we're moving in towards spring. Now with Texas, we usually will get one more freeze. It's just kind of typical. But this is having issues with the exposures. It keeps like, tons of emissions there. But anyway, that is coming, or I'll be putting that out soon. I'm just waiting for everything to start coming, like leafing out and turning green again. But no, it's nice. It has been nice here. I set up my water fountain. I got one, so it sounds like a raging. It is loud on my patio right now with that waterfall, or fountain. But it is nice enough outside to sit out there with it. So yeah, we are good now. Of course, we are coming into tornado season, so there's that. Let's see. Where am I? I've always used Prismacolor, but recently got a set of 36 polychromos. If you layer them, is it better to layer the polychromos over the Faber-Castell or vice versa? Makes no difference. Well, okay, it makes a difference depending on the results you get, but it's not that one is better than another. Try them and see what gives you the results you want. It just depends on what you're doing. I mean, I want fine detail, I tend to reach for my polychromos. If I want smooth blending, I'm going to reach towards my more higher wax-based pencils, which in your case would be your polychromo or Prismacolor. What is the difference between Derwent Pro Color and Light Pass? Is Pro Color not Light Pass? Yeah, like half of the Pro Color were not Light Pass, which sucked because some of those colors were beautiful. However, they fixed that because those same colors that I loved so much with the Derwent Light Pass are now in the Pro Color are here with the Light Pass. So in performance, I would say is about the same. Now they marketed it that the Pro Color was a mix of wax and oil base. And for anyone who's complaining about me not working right now, we're just letting this dry a bit. But we're the Pro Color were listed wax and oil base. Light Fast was marketed as oil base, like primarily oil base. They feel it's the same, honestly. In practice, I would say Light Fast to me is a mix, somewhere in between my Caran d'Ache Luminance and my Polychromos. Like it's a really nice balance of the two. It doesn't feel as hard of a lead as my Light Fast. Gibson is on his back, legs in the air right now. He is upside down. Okay, classy hound. But anyway, yeah, it's that. There you go. Derwent Soft Color. I don't know what the soft color is. The Derwent, I'm trying to think. What would the soft color be considered? I don't know what you mean by those ones. Someone said, how do I buy the Light Fast 100 set without the wasteful tacky wood box? I'm not sure. Check their website and check Blick. to be honest, Derwent sent them to me. So I don't know. I didn't have to try to buy them on my own, so I'm not sure. Maybe somebody else will know. Let's see. Shelly said, I finally bit the bullet to get the 3-drawer boxes for my pencils from Jerry's, and they were out of stock. Dang it, I'm on a wait list. You can check Amazon too. Initially, I liked Jerry's the best because the quality felt better than the Amazon ones, but they change those constantly depending on who makes them and when and all that. So I know Amazon you can check too. And Amazon, I've been seeing more of like the 4 and 5, 6. Joseph's got some bigger boxes, I think. I think he said he did. So yeah, they have, you can get bigger ones too. Check Amazon. It does, Sally. It did look like Quadonkadonk. You are right. I'm trying. Oh my gosh, I'm so far behind on class or on questions. I'm going to go through this really quick before we were waiting for that to dry anyway. D said, did not know depression made fibromyalgia worse. No wonder I've been feeling so crummy lately since I've been focusing more on art again. I feel better. Yep. And that's going to be true with anything in health. It doesn't matter what health condition you have. Any chronic pain, any chronic illness, it could be cancer, it could be whatever. Depression will make you feel worse and it's harder for your body to heal. Your emotional state will affect you physically, very much so. I dealt with severe depression when I was younger, and trust me, it will affect your body like crazy. I mean, I don't have a straight solution for you, but there is a definite tie in there. And like I said, it sucks because your depression got worse because you felt like crap, but the depression getting worse made you feel more crap. Like it's not fun. Let's see. Angel said, have to rest now. Gonna miss you, and I'll be back for sure. Feel better. Heal well. Please keep us updated on how you're doing. Message us on Facebook. Whatever you need to do, let us know how you're doing. But heal fast. We need you back. Let's see. Yeah, Magnus said, it does. I worked in a psych hospital, and those who had depression and fibro were basically bedbound. Mm-hmm. And even if you didn't start out with the depression, the fibro will make you, it's a bad, it just sucks. Let's see. And that's why for me, as much as I complain about it, it was important for me to get to that, being bedridden, for me to go, I have to do something about this. There has to be something. And that's what led me to doing the search of how I cured. And that was the exact terms I used were how I cured my fibromyalgia. I'm like, somebody has to have figured this out. And that's where I came up with the raw vegan thing. And it kind of led me through essentially what is an elimination diet. I removed everything unnatural. And that seems to be the big thing. Unnatural things are the worst. But yeah, I mean, I had to get really bad before I was desperate enough to try raw vegan. Because most people, and I've heard, this one always drove me crazy. There's a guy on Facebook I knew. I went to my old church, and his mom had it really bad. And now I've never taken medication or painkillers for my fibro. I take ibuprofen at most, and that's more for my arthritis. But I don't take anything. His mom was on so many medications to control the pain with the fibro. It killed her liver, killed her kidneys, killed all of these things. And he'd go, my mom's in the hospital again, and the fibro's flaring up, and this and that. And I'm like, tell her to try the raw vegan. Just try it. See if it makes her better. I'm not saying to stop trying her medications. I'm not a doctor. I'm not touching that mess. But try this. Oh, she's not going to do that. Well, then she's not sick enough yet, is she? I had to get so sick that I was desperate enough to do raw vegan. Raw vegan, it's not the same as vegan. Vegan's easy. Vegan's no problem. Raw vegan is nothing is cooked. Nothing. Let me tell you, I never wanted to see a salad again. And my salad dressing was olive oil and apple cider vinegar. That was it. Salt and pepper. That was all, it was such a simplified diet, but did I feel better. And it got me out of bed. It got me moving forward. How did this art video turn into a health thing? But yeah. Okay, moving on. Illegal colored pencils. What? Are they assault pencils? That's crap. No, they didn't do the proper testing for testing whether or not they were toxic. So they weren't allowed to be sold in the U.S. until they got that toxicity report, which they eventually did, and that's why they're here now. But for years, they hadn't done it. It's a very expensive test from my understanding. So they just hadn't done it, and now they do. Paper looks fuzzy. No, it's not fuzzy. It's got a tooth. There you can kind of see. It has like a little bit of speckling in it, and it looks more extreme here. Way more extreme than it does in person. Come on, dry. But no, it's not fuzzy at all. It's just that there's fibers of different fiber colors in there that is what's giving it that look. Gypsy Heart said, have you seen the newer 24 Inktense pan set? Supposedly it has 9 colors that are not in the block and pencil pen. Is that what they sent me? Hold on. Is it in here? They sent me a bunch of stuff, and I don't remember if that was one of them. I got my pencils. I got my Chroma Flow. Hold on one second. No, I don't think they sent that to me yet. I think I needed to get back to her and tell her, yes, I did want it. They sent me more of my Derwent Light Fast, more, and then the additional colors I was missing, and the Chroma Flow pencils. I thought they did send that. Where did I put it? Because we talked about it. I talked to my contact at Derwent, and they asked if I wanted it, and I need to let her know, yes, I do. I should have had her send it. I thought that I had it. Where did I put it? Maybe I didn't get it. I don't know. I had so much stuff come in this week, the last couple of weeks. I don't know. But yeah, I definitely want to get them for sure. Let's see. I'm not sure what should buy between watercolor or gouache, since where I live, professional gouache are cheaper. Since gouache is opaque, I don't know that it would get in the way. They're both good mediums. Oh, gouache is just opaque watercolor. They're both technically watercolor. Do you want to work with translucent layers, or do you want to work with opaque layers? I'm really loving my watercolor right now. The only opaque, like gouache type thing that I wanted was white. So for me, I like the translucency that you get from most of the watercolor, but that's going to be personal preference. Blick used to have coupons. They used to email them. I have not gotten one in a very long time. Like, they'd have 20% off or different sales. I haven't gotten one in forever, so I don't know. Sergi said, "You have blessed us with the almighty Holbein Rand. Blessed be blessed. My Friday night is now complete." Oh my gosh. Phyllis said, "A video popped up on my YouTube of someone using wax or oil-based pencils over some sort of heated board." Yeah, it's the Icarus board. That's really only, it won't work for me because I use OMS and I'm not using anything heated with OMS. But it also, I use so much with my oil-based pencils, it doesn't work on oil-based pencils. It only works on the higher the wax content, the better, because it helps melt that. So it is, for me, because I use both, not really useful. I did look into it. Scrolling down. Kelly said, "Someone visited our house and pointed out it was so odd. We had no family pictures up. I didn't even notice it. Got art on the walls though." That's me. My walls are covered with paintings, and for me, no one said anything about it. I think they kind of expect it. But also, I don't have kids, so I think that might be different. If you have kids, you're probably going to put those up all over. But I don't even have good pictures of like my parents, of me. Like, we never take pictures of it ourselves. Let's see. Simon said, "Dick Blick and Jackson's Art now have Holbein open stock." Oh, Jackson's does. "You can still get them for around $220 USD for the 150 pencil set in local Japanese websites, softer than Prisma." Maybe I should. I didn't even think about looking at other, like going ahead and getting it from third party and then buying open stock as needed. I may look into that. I'm glad you brought that up. Bob said, "Have you ever come across an artist on YouTube called Drawholic? The way they use their colored pencils is so fascinating." I have not. I don't watch that much art YouTube. Not because it's not amazing, just because I don't get a chance because I'm usually doing mine. "Most wonderful thing I learned in art from you. The dark's dark enough and light's light enough. It changed my art life. Thank you so much." Yay! Am I afraid of ghosts? No. I mean, I don't want to see them, but I don't live my life in fear of them. How's that? If I saw one, I would pee myself. Like, I would need some Depends, without a doubt. But, I mean, I've seen things, we've talked about this before briefly, but like, I've experienced some stuff when I was younger in some of the older houses I lived in. There was some definite stuff that had happened, but I'm not like terrified, but I also don't want to watch scary things about ghosts on TV because then it brings back those, no. I'll avoid that, but I don't like live life like, is there a ghost around the corner either? So I don't know. Radish said, "I'm thinking about getting some colored pencils. I'm confused about what brands to choose. I am a beginner. Any suggestions?" Get a small set of Polychromos, a small set of Polychromos, Caran Luminance or Derwent Lightfast would be my recommendation on pencils. And you don't have to get, if you're like, I'm a beginner, so I don't want to spend a bunch of money, get 12 pencils. You can get them open stock if you don't want to go, like I don't know what the set of 12 or smaller sets of the Derwent Lightfast or the Caran. I know the set of 12 polychromos is good. You would still need a white opaque pencil, so like a white Caran Luminance, but get a small, I would rather see somebody when they're learning even get a small set of a good brand than a lot of crappy pencils. Like you can get crap for very cheap, but you're gonna learn better with the good stuff. So, and if you get a smaller set, so let's say you went with the 12 polychromos, or you picked out 12 that you like of the Derwent Lightfast or whatever. You work with those 12 colors, you're gonna learn to blend and mix and layer to get the colors you want because you don't have that many colors to choose from. You will learn so much more about blending and mixing color with a small set than if you went and bought the whole huge set. Do I ever get dizzy with OMS, even in open ventilated areas? Not at all, which says something because I'm dizzy a lot. Like being dizzy is one of my states of being. Like that's a fibro thing, I guess. But no, it's never increased it. Never made a difference. Let's see. I'm not sure what I should buy between watercolor or, okay, I got that one. Hi, Violetta. Pulsating exposure is weird. Yeah, and I don't know why it's doing that. I wonder, I can change it, but what will happen, and I've done this before, it is going to flip out on me. It always does. It does not like when I turn off auto exposure. So what it'll do when I move my hand across it, it starts like doing this ghosting thing. Oh, it's not doing it. Okay, maybe that'll fix it. Can I show you how to water splash paint? I don't know what you're looking for. Zika said, I'm glad to hear that you are doing well after the cold. You mentioned tornado season. How do you cope with that? I would be too scared to live there. I'm grateful for UK weather. It doesn't, insurance. You have good insurance. That's how you cope with it. We don't even have like, so up north and such, I think this is good enough. We can start putting stuff in here, but up north, you guys have basements and stuff to hide from, or cellars or whatever. You can hide from tornadoes. We don't have that here. We don't really have much to hide from, and I had in my head it was going to be like the movies. And if you were caught in a tornado, it was like instant end of life situation. It doesn't really happen like that often. They tell you to go like hide in your closet or whatever. I don't know why closets are safer, but there we go. I guess no windows. But it's not as scary as what I thought it would be. So, you know, bonus there. But it's still, I'm not a fan, that's for sure. When like there's tornadoes and warnings and stuff, then the nausea really comes because I do get freaked out about that. But it's not normally like a thing to be super, super fearful of. And that was a weird thing for me to get used to for sure here. I mean, California didn't have storms, so it was very different. But yeah, I mean, we have warnings. We know when to watch for them. You have a general idea of when they're headed your way and when to go hide. I mean, there are times where it gets bad. It's been years since I had to, where you pack up with the dogs and everyone goes and hides in the closet or the bathroom or wherever there's no windows. So I've definitely been there before where there were some scary times, but normally that is not the case. But yeah, when I remember talking to my friend Holly, God, this would have been around 2005 that we were talking about this. She lived in Oklahoma at the time, and they're really bad with the tornadoes. And her talking about those, and that was kind of my thing, like, oh my God, I can't live somewhere like that. And you guys are having storms right now. You can't. She needed to go to the post office or something, and I was like, you can't do that right now. It's not safe. She's like, it's fine. But it was kind of my first exposure to somebody who lived in that area, and most of the people who have lived through it don't worry that much about it. Not like I do, apparently. Hi, Facebook user from San Diego. It just shows me Facebook user. It doesn't say who's like on the... So I use a product called Restream, so I can stream both to Facebook and YouTube at the same time, and it has all the chat together, but I can't see your name. I apologize. Brady said, I'm so glad you're back to posting and streaming. Me too. It feels so good to be back. I was glad to get last week where I was working on the art. I was glad to get that done, but I was definitely looking forward to getting back to this. Thank you, Cat's Art Picks. Congratulations on the new pencils, Brandy. Shelly said, you have a Quidonkadonk in your merch wear yet. I'd love to wear that and explain it to people. That is genius. I'm writing it down. I need to make some new merch. I've been writing down some ideas you guys had. Why don't I have that? Oh my gosh. That it like has to be the next thing. Absolutely. So when you add shadows to the birds, how would it look like? What do you mean? I mean, I'm adding the shadows. Magenta. It looks like magenta is what it looks like. I'm just scrolling. I'm trying to get caught up. I'm so far behind on this. Bob said, I think if there were huge tornadoes in the UK, the way the houses are built, many people would be hurt as the houses are built from brick, whereas I think in America they're not. No, mine's brick. I have a brick house. Red wine vinegar is good as salad dressing. Oh my gosh. Or on rice or on, that's just tasty. Would you say pen pastels are necessary if you want to get really into colored pencils? Nope. I did not use pen pastels until a couple of years ago, and I still love my work before and after. So not necessary? No. Are they amazing? Yes. And they're very, very... They speed things up. So like you want a blurry background or whatever, you can get things done a lot faster with those than you're going to get. Where did my denim go? There you go. Than you're going to get with the pencils alone. And so that was a big thing for me. I like getting stuff done faster when possible. So yeah, huge fan of those. You know what? There's a new turquoise color that I got when the door went light fast. Let's grab him. It's called Pacific Blue. I think that was it. Pacific Blue. There we go. In South Africa, we had experienced some tornadoes, a huge one when I was a kid. Thanks to our brick houses, we have less damage and fatalities. Man, children are overrated. I was just telling my neighbor yesterday, I was outside and I have a bad potty mouth, like every other word is F. But I was outside and I forget what Gibson was doing and I was calling him, like I always call him an a-hole or whatever, like stop being an a-hole. And I was, and before anyone gets mad at me, I adore my dog. It's not actually a negative. It's more like a term of endearment, we'll say. I guess is a better way to put that. But anyway, I had to text my neighbor after because he was outside at the time. I'm like, man, when your kid is old enough, because he's having a baby in June, like when your baby is old enough to talk, I have to stop swearing in my backyard. And he's like, yeah, he goes, we're going to be up the same creek because him and his wife are the same. What is the weirdest commission I ever got? What was the weirdest commission? I may have to come back to you on that one. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I mean, I've gotten the commissions where people requested me to paint them thin or what, like, which was weird. I'm like, I will paint what I see. I can only paint what I see. I have no idea how your bone structure is under, like, I can't imagine, like, that's not how that works. But that one was kind of a weird one. I didn't take the commission. But, one of the weirdest ones, and I did not take this commission either. Dude had these dogs. What were they? I don't even remember the breed, but they were from the 70s, I think, is when they were alive. And for the last 40 years, he's been commissioning artists to repaint these 4 dogs, I forget. I don't even remember how many anymore. But he had been commissioning artists for years was it the 70s that the dogs were alive? Was it 70s or the 90s? I think it was the 70s. But he had been commissioning artists to redo them or to paint them over and over again. So he provides me with the photos. I give him the quote. He asks me, and this was when I was like, no, I'm out. Already it's kind of odd that you've got like how many portraits do you have of these dogs at this point? But of the same photos, like, because it's not like you can get new photos. So he's going through the process, and I told him, how I will change the background, and he can choose which background he wants, and I need a little bit of a, idea of what he's looking for on that background. And he goes, or asks, at what point in the commission process does he get to start requesting changes in whatever I currently have done? At no point. You don't get to do that with me. I am not... Swear words were going to come out. No, I am, like, you hire me because you know what my work looks like. Your painting is going to come out like whatever Photoshop mock-up with the background and the photo that you've provided me with is going to be. That is it. You don't get to, if you already know that you're going to need me to change stuff after I've started painting, then why would you hire me? That makes zero sense. So it was like, yeah, no, I'm out. That is not happening. I would say that was probably one of the weirdest commissions, to have something that had been painted, like he'd already had so many, and then you could tell he was going to be one of those clients that was not, it was going to be full of drama is what it was going to be. I was out. That was not, like, I am not wasting my time on that crap. And you have to remember too, when you take commissions, not all commissions are worth it. You've got to start kind of reading between the lines. You'll start figuring out when you've taken enough commissions when a client is going to be way more trouble than they're worth. And it's hard when you first start as an artist, because we have a tendency to just want to take any job that comes our way, because we're I mean, starving artist thing is a real that term is there for a reason. So, and especially in the beginning, we're just excited to get commissions. We have to learn we don't need to take crap from people. Now, if I screw up, like there was one, here's an example of a time I painted a corgi. I love how the painting came out, but apparently the computer monitor I was using, the photo looked more, I think it was, I had it either more orange or more magenta than it was supposed to be. I forget, the color was just slightly tinted, not quite accurate, and it was my computer monitor. And I looked at it on another computer monitor when they're like, hey, you know, it's great, but can you change the color? And so I looked at it and was like, oh crap, I screwed that up, didn't I? I should have looked at that on another monitor. And so that's something I'm going to change, because that was 100% on me, well, the computer monitor. But, and that was an easy thing to adjust the color. I just had to, you just glaze a new color over it. So real easy fix. But anyway, normally I'm not doing change. Like they're definitely, if you're going to be so picky that you know before I even touch the canvas that you're going to want changes, no. You'll also always, whenever you take a commission, make sure, this just got me off on another tangent, but make sure you take, my brain shut off, deposits for everything, non-refundable deposits. Because if somebody changes their mind after you've put in weeks of work, you're still getting paid for that. My deposit is going to be a minimum 50%, and you don't get it back at all. I start the painting, you don't like it, too bad. You knew what my work looked like before you hired me. Or you come up with some hardship. That was the other thing. Oh, well, I didn't get paid. I didn't this or that. You shouldn't have ordered something from me and taken time out of mine, taking money away from me that I could have done on somebody who was going to pay me. So I put that work into this if you couldn't afford it. And that may sound harsh, but art is a luxury item. I'm not preventing you from buying food or tasty, tasty potatoes. You either can afford it or you can't. And if you are putting yourself into a financial hardship and you couldn't end up paying, you're not, no, you know. So anyway, take deposits. That was a lot of words for a simple question of the weirdest commission I ever got. I think that one was the weirdest, though, the guy with the dogs. Let's see. Paul said, funny story, I fart confidentially around my family members. I don't know that I need, no, we're not talking about that. I don't know why you, Gypsy said, living colored pencil, the more and more I do it, but explain to me how you tell the paper is dry. I know I'm going overboard, waiting like 20 minutes between blending and going back to it. In this case, it's dark, like the color shifts. So it's very obvious when it's like a little bit darker in certain areas that are wet. So that's how I'm telling here. Let's see. Great to hear you're doing okay. I live in California and I'm dreading the fires to come. Oh, yes, it is. Yeah. You know, we used to have some fires when I was still in California. I remember, when was that? That would have been around 2004, 2003. I remember there being a really bad fire, and like you'd go outside and the sky was red in the middle of the day, and the smell, like the headache, you couldn't be outside at all because the headaches were so bad. But I do remember that. But for the most part, when I lived in California, we didn't have that many. Like it was occasionally, but not like you guys get now. Yours now, oh my gosh, they've gotten like, they're pretty crazy now. That's very scary. Luckily, my parents live in an area where the fire really won't affect them, other than they have to breathe the smoke, which cannot be good for your health. But yeah, it is scary the way those fires, how bad they've gotten lately. Someone said, Holbein colored pencils has an infinite layering and are softer than Prisma. Well, that doesn't say much to me. While holding a sharp point, they feel exactly like old Prisma formulation. The toxicity and light fast reports are shady though. Yeah, I will eventually try them. I'm just not paying full price. And the light fast thing concerns me, because that's the thing. I'm going to buy these pencils and I'm like, would I even feel safe? Oh, there's so many little birds outside of my feeder. Would I even feel safe using them in my artwork that I need to be archival? I don't know that I trust it, honestly, because I don't know. Where are we? Good morning, Karina from Australia. Let's see. Idea for merch. Stupid camera. more votes for the Quidonkadonk idea. Let's see. Idea for merch, a sweatshirt with right stupid camera would be fantastic and stylish. That would be funny. I am scrolling down, trying to get through it. Okay, Bob said, what is a big pet peeve of yours, for instance? What would completely make you dislike or go off a person? Gosh. It's usually more personality thing. One, shower. Please shower. Shower every day. If I can smell you, I'm concerned. So that's kind of gross. Being around someone you're like, please. And deodorant. Please wear deodorant. But besides that, like personality types, I guess, I don't understand, like, and it's just more of a, I don't get people who can't, like, lack self-responsibility. A pet peeve of mine is somebody who's going to blame everyone else and everything around them for anything that goes wrong in their lives and don't take responsibility for, if I would have made a different decision, such and such. I mean, stuff happens, bad things happen, I get that. But you have so many people, and it's just a very common thing these days too, who live in this land of it's everyone else's fault but mine. That would probably be my biggest pet peeve, is a lack of personal responsibility. And one of the reasons it bugs me so much is that attitude is what makes their life not improve, because they're not trying to, because they truly believe that nothing is their fault. Everything is somebody else around them. And so I would say that's probably my biggest pet peeve. And please shower. Paul, oh my gosh, shopping with 6-pack abs. Let's see. Radish says, I'm a beginner and I'm looking for a good set of, I already answered that like 8 times. I mean, I read your question like 8 times. I've only answered it once. Yeah, see, that's different. Camel Art, you said, my partner and I have a commissioner who will ask for constant changes and tweaks, but we're also doing characters rather than interpretations of photos. So doing logos, I expect there to be, like, so there are exceptions for sure. Like if I'm doing a logo and somebody wants something different, that's their logo. That's normal. So there's definitely a difference between that and you provided me with a photo, I paint photorealistically, it's going to look like that photo. So, yeah, there's definitely a difference there. Thanks, Brandy. They are Lady Gouldian Finches, or some people just call them Gouldian Finches. Just got my first commission, full amount and cash up front. Their choice, good. That'll never happen again. Let's see, scrolling. Xander said, yeah, San Francisco area and the valley last year was horrible. The skies were red for days. And the headaches, man, the headaches from those fires. I will never forget the headaches from those fires. Okay, either I'm caught up or it jumped. Either way. But I have not gotten to your question yet. Go ahead and type it again. I'm going to try to hurry along and finish this little bird up. Now, I will likely end up putting touch-up texture titanium white on him and a little bit on the flower too, but not today. That I'll do kind of all at once. So I think what we'll do next week, we're going to work on the branch. Wait, should I do the branches first? I think we'll do the branches and the bubbles. We'll just kind of start on those. That's going to take probably two weeks to get that finished. And that should finish this up. Looks like it's just bubbles and branches at this point. Wow. I like this one. I'm going to frame it and put it on my own wall. Where is my peach pencil? There it is. Oh, wait, no, this one. Whatever. Oh, thank you for the super chat short. I can't talk. You flustered me. Thank you so much for the super chat shortney. There we go. Oh my gosh. Too sweet. So thanks for all your art lessons. Oh, thank you. I'm going to cry. How do you add like shadows and shaders to the painting? I just layer over it with purple. In this case, purples and magentas. I just layer over as needed. Oh, I'm still gooey about super chats. But yeah, with the shadows, it's just purples and magentas in this case because I'm mostly dealing with a lot of orange. Well, I've already got the purples, but I've got the yellows and oranges. So got 3 toes up front. We'll define that better when we get to the branch. When I do the shading on the branch, that's when I'll clean up the toes. Right now, they're just going to be kind of a hot mess. Can I possibly use polychromos and Prismacolor together in the same piece? Yes, you can. Will I? No, because I am not a fan of Prisma. Let me clarify that. if you're unfamiliar with my whole anti-Prisma thing, Prismacolor, you can create beautiful, beautiful work. There's some quality control issues that I have a problem with the way the company's handled things. They know that there's a problem and they don't fix it. But anyway, I choose not to use them because I'm sick of pencils breaking because I looked at it the wrong way. But yes, they can be used together. Oh, thank you, Bob, for the super chat. Oh my gosh, guys, you're so sweet. Oh, I'm going to cry. Did I go to an art class? Like, seriously, stop tearing up. Did I go to an art class? I mean, I took an airbrushing class once, and it was a one-day course. Like, it wasn't a, like, full thing. But I had already been airbrushing at that point. Although I did learn a lot of good tips from Coast Airbrush in Anaheim. They're amazing. If you're in California and you want a good airbrushing class, go check out Coast Airbrush. Or airbrush supplies, anything you need, really, you can get from them. That's where I got my first airbrush, too. They set me all up. But, yeah. No, I am otherwise self-taught. So see, this is the shading that you had asked, or somebody, I forget your name, asked about. I'm taking, this is a magenta, or it's called red violet, and I'm using this to get the shadows and to separate his head there. And some of this will get separated a lot and look a lot more defined once I go over it with the touch-up texture titanium white. And this is the stage where I start burnishing. I start pushing harder on the pencils to get a lot of the blending in. And so I'm flattening the tooth of the paper, which you want to avoid in the earlier layers, but I can do it here because it doesn't matter. Like, I'm not going to put more layers there, so I'm okay to burnish. You don't want to do that earlier on because you limit how many layers you get later. Bob said, oh, come back, said, just a little something to say thank you for your lives. Thank you so much. Shartney said, no problem. I seriously would not be half as good at painting and drawing if I had not found you years ago. Aw, I just got goosebumps. That is so awesome. My gosh. Life on Mars, thank you for the super chat. You guys are just, wow, thank you. Aw, more goosebumps. That usually follows tears. Okay, stop. Samuel said, I love this. Will sub. Thank you. Cat's Art Pick said, will mixing Prismacolor pencils and polychromos play well with OMS? Yeah, both do very, very well with OMS. You're good there. Do I edit these lives for Patreon? No. So Patreon gets your own thing. What Patreon is, so like Tuesday's video was the giraffe. And so what I do there is that video, it's like, God, is it like 5 hours of footage? It's long. I've got a lot of footage on that one. You guys get the long lesson, not the sped up. I mean, parts may be sped up if it's like, okay, I'm doing the same thing over and over and over again. Here we get the idea. Let's move that part along. But for the most part, that's really, really slow on Patreon, if not real time. And it's whatever like those lessons are. So you can go to Lachri.com, scroll down to where it says Patreon video library. Click on that. You can see everything that's there. This is just as it is right here. This is open to everybody. It doesn't, like, you don't have to be a patron to get these lives. Sometimes I do live streams on Patreon. I haven't done one in a while. I should do that. Where it's like, usually they end up being about 3 hours and we do one subject start to finish. So, but I have not done one of those in a while. Where are we? Holy crap. Thank you, Belle, for the super chat. Pair character dancing under a rain of confetti and taking his hat off to say you're amazing. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, everybody. Thank you, Anna. Anna says your art is beautiful and greetings from California. Holy crap. It's goosebumps and tearies. Tearies? I'm trying not to mess up my makeup here. Wow, thank you guys. Hi, Thomas. I still have goosebumps. Let's see. I'm just scrolling. What are your best techniques for stretching paper? I never do. I need to see what I like. I just use whatever it comes. I buy pre-stretch, but I definitely am going to need to start stretching with the more watercolor I do because I'm using way too much water, as it's been pointed out to me. I like that effect. So yeah, I'm going to have to stretch. Am I excited for Snyder Cut? I don't know what that is. So I'm going to say no, just because I'm unaware of what that is. Yeah, the Chroma Flow. Okay, you guys want to do a quick test of Chroma Flow? Well, hold on. Let me get the last little bits on him. I will do a quick Chroma Flow. I've never even touched them or tried them. Let's do a quick sample. Let's find out what they're like. We got a few minutes. And his feet I'm not doing until next week. So, or like I said, but once we get the branch in, we're just gonna put a little bit of this orange into the green. And I may do a few more touch-ups later on, but largely he's just, I need the touch-up texture titanium white to get what I need on him. My shine looks weird. Yeah, I need the touch-up texture for my shine. I'm just going to block that out because it looks stupid. Like I can't control the pencil in that small of an area. But I can with touch-up texture titanium white. So they just have little black holes for their eyes right now. We'll do that next time. So that is the bird there. You can see, I mean, the way that we did the layering process and such. But being that somebody brought the chroma flow up, now I have to look into these. I believe these are marketed more for like students, not professionals. I do not know for sure. I need to look into that, but I'm pretty sure I remember reading that. But it says on the box that they're professional quality. It also says that they are made in the UK. So these were not ones that I don't know if they do this. So I guess I don't need to go into that. Or it's made in Britain. I'm just looking, we're just going to take a look real quick at the box. So here's the box. That's drawn by Kinsey Lane. So if you don't know who Kinsey Lane is, you know who drew the cover of the Derwent Light Fest pencils. That is Jessie Lane. Kinsey is his wife. So I think that's really cool that she's on one of the covers too. So they're awesome people. They have whippets, so that makes them cool. Let's see. So the cover on this says, vibrant, blendable color, smooth, creamy laydown, premium core strength that can handle pressure. One of the things, I had to laugh about this. I think it's genius. One of the things on the back says, rely on pencils that last longer due to less breakage when sharpening and use. We all know who they're talking about, and it's amazing. I'm like, ooh, nice jab there. So yeah, let's see. Do we know if they're light fast? I don't know on the box. The box doesn't tell me anything about whether or not they're light fast. So I'm gonna have to look that up on their website. Now Derwent does on their website tell you when pencils are light fast or not. But I don't, like I said, I don't know if I'm mixing these up with another brand, but I want to say that I read these were more of a, like a less expensive student grade, I thought. I don't know. I shouldn't talk about things I don't know about. Let's see. Oh, they smell. Why does that remind me of being a kid at my grandma's house? Like, it doesn't smell like her house. It reminds me of she had a cellar, and like the wood in the cellar is what this reminds me. I can't stop smelling it. Like, wow, weird childhood memory smelling that. Like, oh my gosh, I remember climbing down. When I used to go to my grandma's house, we'd always beg, can we go look down and like, she stored games and kid stuff sometimes down there that like she didn't have out all the time. Okay, so moving on, no one cares. Colors in the 24 set. I don't even know if there are more colors. I've researched nothing on these. So here are our colors. It's not super accurate on this video. Like this one here is super magenta. It's actually named magenta, and it's showing up kind of red on that video. So we've got that one, and we've got here are the other colors. There we go. So they're blues, aquas. Those ones look pretty accurate. My camera does not like showing magenta, this one. Okay. Life on Mars said, I'm sorry you couldn't donate more. The fact that you're even watching makes me excited. That any donate, like, I'm just, thank you. Thank you so much. But thank you so much for your help and company. You're awesome. Thank you. Let's see. Let's go ahead and grab a piece of paper. I may have to adjust where this is. That's the Quadonkadonk merch. Let's get a new page. This is really cheap paper, so this isn't going to be the best test. Or thin paper, I should say. It's Strathmore Sketch. And let me zoom this out because this is going to make it harder to do. Zoom out. Maybe not that far. Okay, let's see. I have no idea what to expect. So let's just blend magenta. Ooh. Let me just grab a few of these colors. I don't want to mix these with my other ones. So it doesn't say anything about being light fast on this. So again, I'm pretty sure, oh, these are thin. They're weirdly skinny. Like can you see the difference in size between, well, the shadow kind of makes it hard, but they're like, I'm trying to get this to where you can actually see the difference there. The pencil themselves, the shadow makes it hard. I don't know, they feel skinny in my hand. So let's go ahead. They feel waxy, like decently waxy. Not as waxy as like Color Soft, but definitely waxy. Here's that magenta. I'm curious how they're going to blend with OMS, and I'm curious how they're going to burnish. So let's do the same thing. That is not the same color. Let's do the same color. I've got 3 purples out here, or 2 purples. So this one I'm going to burnish. I'm going to do a lighter layer and then I'll burnish after. We can get an idea of what those will look like. These are way more purple than what they show up blue on the screen, unfortunately. Just layer those over each other. And how many layers can we really get? Like, it is waxy, waxy. Ooh, burnishing though. That blends smooth. Kind of chunky, kind of, when I say chunky, I mean it's almost like it lifts a little bit. I can see, no, not there too bad. Like, it is really waxy. Very smooth. So that burnished really, really quickly, like more so than what I would say even with, and I'd have to do a side by side, but like it seems like it blended for sure more or quicker with the burnishing than Caran d'Ache would have been. It almost feels more smooth blending with burnishing than even the Prismacolor would be, but I would need to grab a Prismacolor and test side by side to say for sure. But if I'm remembering correctly, that feels more. So let's go back over this one. I want to get a couple more layers, and I don't even know. I suspect this is not going to take as many layers, meaning like it's already waxy. I'm going over that again, and it's feeling like there's not much pigment coming off the pencil. Like it's just really, yeah, like nothing is really happening. It's just sliding around on it's almost burnishing from using a light hand, which is interesting. So as far as like being blendable, holy crap, these are blendable. Like that is definitely nice. Now I'm not, I want you to look this up, or if somebody can look at the light fast ratings, because I'm almost certain these are intended more for like students, which is fine for learning, but you wouldn't, like as a professional artist, you're not going to run out and buy these. They wouldn't really be useful in your case. You would want the light fast. But for kids, this might be something. The pigment lays down really fast. So it lays down fast like the Derwent Color Soft did, but as you know, I don't, like the Derwent Color Soft does not work with my techniques. It doesn't blend real well. This is blending well where the Derwent Color Soft didn't. So let's see what happens when I blend this with OMS. So, and I don't even know what the price point is on these. I have no idea. I think you can get them on Amazon right now. Oh, that blends nice. Holy crap. Okay, I would definitely, and I don't know what the price is, so I can't say anything there, but I could see teaching a kid to work with these or somebody new. Now, they're not taking as many layers. It's almost easier than like trying to layer with polychromos or even the Derwent Light Fast. Like that did not take very many layers to be, that is a rich, like, I don't know if you can see, the color is really bold. Like that is bright, like that's a bright fluorescent quadonkadonk there. Really, I'm not unhappy with these. Like I was kind of like, oh, am I going to want to do a full project with them? Are they going to be kind of frustrating to blend or work with? No, I definitely will be doing, and this is what I'm going to be doing. I should probably have to start that tomorrow. I think this is going to be your Patreon video. I'm going to do a quick, small demonstration with these, but so that I can then do the video, like review, the short review thing, but you guys will get the full length one over on Patreon. But I think we're going to use those, so we'll get a better idea. We'll talk about more about how that blended, but, or all the pros and cons and stuff I'll figure out when I do a full project. But I'm surprised. I thought I was going to be like, I don't really want to do a full project because they're more student grade, but they blended. It looks like something that will be fast to work in, I'm guessing, at least from what I just tested. We'll see how it goes with details. Actually, you know what I want to see? How do highlights stick on top of it? So let's let that dry for a minute. Is there a white pencil in here, or do I have to use a different white? No, they do have a white. So I'm going to let that dry for a second, and then I'm going to try the white pencil on top, and we'll see how well that sticks. I'm curious on that. Let's see. Where were we? Gail said, is it possibly cedar wood you're smelling? I love the smell of old cedar chest, my childhood memory of mine too. Maybe. It could be. I have no idea. Actually, doesn't it say what they used? Oh, get back in there. Get back in your house. Where's the lid? Oh, there it is. I don't know if it says on here. Smooth, creamy laydown. They are definitely right. Vibrant, absolutely. It does. I don't see anything about that. I'll have to look on their. Usually their website will have that level of information. I'm not sure. Let's set these here. Simon said, I want to get the texture fixative from Brush and Pencil. If only that brush lady would make it worldwide. It is. You can get it from Jackson's Art in the UK, and they ship all over the place. Australia has I forget what Australia is. I think it's Delta Art in Canada. It is worldwide. Chromaflows are a direct competitor for Prisma. Or are they? I don't know. I don't know a lot about these, honestly. I need to look into it before I make the review, that's for sure. Can I explain what burnish means? Burnish is when you're pushing hard with a pencil, so you're jamming the pencil into the tooth of the paper, and it flattens out the tooth of the paper, so you don't have the like little white bumps of the paper showing through. So you get this smooth blending, but you just flatten the tooth of the paper. You're not really getting additional layering on top of that. Not much anyway. Sandra said, while watching this, I'm working on a portrait with my new luminance. No birds, no flowers, but still, I love to listen to your stream while working using the tips I hear. That's awesome. Yay. Someone said, can you compare the Derwent Lightfast Color Soft to Chromaflow by burnishing them? I don't think I have any of the Color Soft here, but I know Color Soft, nothing about blending Color Soft worked with any, not burnishing. They didn't burnish well. They didn't layer well. They didn't blend well with OMS. Color Soft just did not work for any of my techniques. They're good for like looser sketching. I liked them for, but that was it. But the Lightfast, I mean, I may do that on a full review. Just scrolling down, making sure I get through. Okay. Oh, that just jumped. Kingston's Fine Art said, hi Lisa, thanks for your colored pencil tips. You're the one that got me wanting to learn how to use colored pencil. I really love using them. I have learned a lot from your videos. Much love and respect. Oh, thank you. That's awesome. Gypsy Heart said, hurry, husband is here, convincing him why I need the slice tool. He listens to you. Okay, so actually, I wonder if the slice tool will work on this one where you burnish. Look at that. Look at the little hairs. Oh dear God. We're using this slice tool when I do the review. Look at how, can you see that? Is that focusing? Like if this was an animal and I needed little whiskers, little fur, oh my gosh, look at that. Gypsy Heart's husband, this is amazing and she needs this. It works best when you've burnished. It doesn't work as good over areas where you used, holy crap, that works over OMS. That's new. Kind of liking these pencils. Even though I'm nearly certain they're not light fast, I kind of wish they were because, oh my gosh, that is, look at that. So you can scratch up little areas where you want highlights and that is probably going to look better than the white pencil. Yeah, see the white pencil, it kind of shows, but it's softer. It doesn't show that much. So these, I feel like, are going to be more limited on how many layers, which I think are going to be really good for teaching kids because kids are not really patient enough to put the level of layers that you and I would put. So for teaching purposes, I think that I would do. I don't know the price point, so I don't know if that's like worth it for kids if they're less expensive enough than like say the Lightfast. Would you be better off just getting Lightfast? But it seems like at least for my first initial try, I'm glad I did this because it gives me an idea of picking a project what'll work well when I do the review. But I would say that these are going to be good for kids that are not going to be as patient. They don't want breaking pencil leads. They don't want to spend too much time having to layer. This worked well with burnishing. It worked well with OMS. So for teaching the younger kids, I think these are going to be good, but I also think that they're going to do decent work. We'll see when we start working. I have much higher hopes for them than I did the Color Soft. Is like, you know, I wasn't a huge fan of Color Soft, but this I think I can work with. This I think, as far as like, can I teach someone with this? I can teach someone with that most likely. We'll see when I do a full project. I couldn't with Color Soft. They couldn't learn my techniques because it doesn't work with my techniques. So that kind of gives you a bit of information there. So, and again, I'm not trying to tell everyone, go out and run these and you're going to add them to your professional kit. I don't think that's what these are intended for. I could be absolutely wrong. I need to look into that. I'm just talking off what I remembered reading somewhere, and I could have been reading about something else. We never know. Thomas Collins said, I just subscribed to you. Thank you. Yes, my back issues are from ankylosing spondylitis. And I also have fibromyalgia and celiac disease. I am broken. This is why people shouldn't inbreed. This is what you produce. I'm just kidding. I don't think my dad's side of the family, I've got some questions just based on their redneckedness. Is that a thing? So I always joke about that. Anyway, it's inappropriate. I shouldn't joke about these. Someone's going to be offended. But then again, I could say the sky is blue and someone will be offended. So there's that. But yeah, anyway, that's always been my joke, like that my genes are bad because of family things. I don't actually know of any of those things. It's just a joke. Moving on. Gypsy Heart said, oh, he goes, get it, but he said only because your reaction over the OMS seemed legit. No, I'm surprised. I didn't expect, like on this paper, it won't likely do much. See, because the OMS like made it blend in, and with those pencils, I'm really not seeing much, but those ones, it really showed up well. Usually over burnishing is when you're going to see the biggest result. Like here, none of that really made a difference, but keep in mind, I'm also, on this case, this is the worst paper to show this on. That it's going to work better on white paper. Here, I'm exposing gray. You're not going to see a big difference. But on the Canson Mi-Teintes, it's not great for. I would use it on like a hot press watercolor paper, or in this case, this was on a, what is this? The Strathmore Sketch. And it's a really lightweight, 60 pound, way too lightweight. But any of the Strathmore, that type of paper, it would be more likely to work on. But burn areas you've burnished, and you can do like a layer of white and then put green on top of it, burnish it, and then when you go back over with the slice tool, that white will be exposed. It'll come out like a light green. It won't be white, but you can get some really cool effects with that you just can't really get with other tools. So it's pretty cool. I do like the slice tool. I don't use it that often, but the times I use it, it's like, oh, that's just paid for itself. It's amazing. You know, they're not terribly expensive. Let's see. It's my first time watching you stream, and I'm painting the bird on the right in watercolor. Nice. What is the name of the bird? Do you know? They are Lady Gouldian Finches, or sometimes just Gouldian Finches. You'll hear them. Hi, Lynn. They're like $30 for a 24 set, and I think I need some. That's not bad. If these are 20, if this set is only $30, this is what I would, this is for anyone under. So art has a weird thing. Once kids hit about 12, things snap in their head and it just makes sense when it comes to art. Not the same with music. There's something about art specifically. 12, 13, all of a sudden they can go from like not looking super realistic to just having control and patience that they didn't have until that point. It's a weird thing. I've been teaching since since 98, 99. I don't know, a long friggin' time. I've been teaching for over 20 years, and that was something that I saw when I worked with younger kids. For some reason, those same kids, I could work with them for years, not much improvement. They hit 12 or 13, and it's like, oh, I get it. So I eventually got to where I limited. I didn't teach anyone under 12 because I'm like, I'm wasting your parents' money. But anyway, yeah, no, this is good. I'm not unhappy with this. Again, I don't think they're light fast. I don't think that they're intended for professional artists to use in something that we need to be light fast. If we're making prints, you're fine. If you like the results you get with them and you're making prints, like what I do with my Inktense, I still use Inktense. They're fast. They look great in prints. This seems like it's going to be faster working because I didn't need many layers to get that level of color saturation. I'm surprisingly impressed with these. I didn't honestly think I was going to be. So yeah, that price point is not bad at all. That is like, wow. Gail said, gotta go now. Just wanted you to know I really missed your face last week. You really are a part of our lives, and we prayed for you, Matt, and your menagerie to safely. Bless you. Thank you so much, and thank you for your prayers. Thank you. Oh, I got goosebumps of like I'm going to cry. We'll wrap this up. Dee said, your fibromyalgia and other issues was how I found your channel. Googled, can I be an artist with fibromyalgia? Your artist story video came up. Oh, that's, wow. Yeah, that's the reason, honestly, my health issues are how I ended up being an artist, because I was drawing since the time I was a kid. Like that went hand in hand. I don't know that I would have drawn as much if I was out riding my bike as often or playing outside as often. And again, I don't want to make it sound like sad story I never got to play outside. That's not true, but I was sick a lot, so I had a lot of time to draw. So Yeah, that's really interesting. Alana said the Derwent website says this about ChromaFlow Lightfast. Specific Lightfast ratings for these pencils are not published, but they have been tested to perform comparably to other branded Lightfast products in similar price range, which means they're not Lightfast then. Like if they're only $30 for those, they're probably not Lightfast. Based on that, I would assume. So Lightfast performance is also similar to other highly pigmented products within the Derwent Lightfast range of professional quality pencils. Yeah, I definitely would. I wouldn't trust it in my own like professional quality work. Like make prints, no problem. But like something I was going to sell to somebody until we had like real ratings, like I don't think that doesn't count. that's kind of the explanation that a lot of companies use. Like they're like, oh, excellent light fastness, but you didn't test them. So I mean, they said they tested them, but yeah, I don't think I trust that enough without actual numbers to use any of these in professional work. But as far as like quick pencils, let's say you were using it in a sketchbook. You're not selling your sketchbook. These, at least from what I just experienced, laid down quick. That would be good. So it'll be interesting to see them in a full, this looks all faded. It doesn't look like that in person, but it'll be interesting to see this in an actual project to see how that comes out. So I'm excited to start that. Actually, I should probably start that tonight. Let's see. Thank you for the super chat, Marina. Aw. Did I already read that one? I think that came from earlier. Oh no, it just says pair character dancing under a rain of confetti and taking his hat off to say you are amazing. Thank you. Aw. I'm going to cry. Sally said, they say due to flooding, i.e. Noah's Ark, we are still kissing cousins. Shayna said, when I use the craft knife, it doesn't work for me. I try to create highlights of whiskers. Is there a specific way of using the craft knife to that effect? I should make a specific, like, dedicated video on this, but yes. So, gosh, we're already so far in. I need to do this in a specific one that is going to take longer. But if you've used, like on here, it doesn't really work because I'm scraping up the pigment and exposing, if it exposes anything, it's gray because I've got gray paper. It doesn't show up. On white paper, as we saw there, it scraped up and exposed, like it lightened up the pigment and showed more of that. Now, if you blended with OMS, the OMS makes the pigment dissolve into the paper. So you don't have as much white left to expose. If you just burnished, so somebody who blends by burnishing, they're gonna find this tool to be much more useful than somebody who is blending with OMS. For those of us who blend with OMS, lots of layers, and if you have like light layers and then you've put dark layers, when you expose, you like your light layers were blended out and then you put dark layers on top, especially if those light layers were burnished. But if you put the dark layers on top, when you go on top with your tool, it's going to expose the previous light layers more. So I think we need to do a dedicated video on that because they're pretty cool. Velma said, how do you make an object look blurred using colored pencil? Object is in the midground. If you want something looking blurry, you just overlap stuff. So like here, where we've got a definite line of his head, if I wanted all this blurry, there'd be no sharp little details or sharp lines. Everything would blend, kind of like here, where I blended the dark into the body. You're gonna blend the same thing. Anything that's blurry, out of focus, you just blend the edges together. You don't have sharp, clean lines or definition. It's just overlapping. Let's see. Okay, I think we're good. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you guys on, I should have an edited video for you Tuesday. Those of you on Patreon, usually late Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning, depending on what time you're at, is usually when our video goes up. And I'm going to try to get a project done with these ChromaFlow, so we'll get a little bit more information on that. It'll be a smaller project, but we'll see how those work. I want to test like how good are they at getting detail, how good are they at whatever. We'll find that out. That edited video might go up on Tuesday. I'm not sure, probably not. Probably wouldn't be until the following Tuesday. But yeah, so I'm not sure what Tuesday's regular YouTube video will be. But anyway, yes, we are good. Thank you guys so much. Let's see, Kelsey said, the Slice Tool Company actually asked to use a couple of my pieces to advertise, and I geeked out a bit. I love them. That's awesome. Yeah, they contacted me a while back, and I just was busy at the time and never got back to them about doing some videos for them. And I'm like, I already own your product. Like, I'll just promote you because I think you're good. You don't even need to give me anything for that. You just made a good product, and I will tell people about it. But anyway, yeah, I probably should contact them and see if they want anything dedicated. But moving on, thank you guys so much for joining. Make sure to check out Nick and Joseph's channels. They both have I can't talk. They both have art channels here on YouTube. Joseph has been regularly live streaming. I'm really proud of his schedule lately. Definitely, and it's fun to hang out and chat with everybody because it's a lot of the same people here are over in his chat. So if you enjoy that, he's Mondays. I know it's when I'm usually editing my Patreon video, is when his are up. So, or he live streams. So make sure, anyway, check them out. Tell them thank you for getting the spam and stuff out of our chat so we can actually talk. And that is all. And if Angel comes back, feel better.